Green blades dark like light. Tolling the coming of the end.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of our Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Our being me, Rose, and him, Spencer.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, it's Final Fantasy time again. It's our quarterly Final Fantasy podcast. Trimester? Maybe trimester is a better word for our schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it, 3.5 months? Yeah, that's the patch schedule. Alright, yeah, anyways. Final Fantasy. Am I right? We're here to talk about 5.5, the patch that most recently came out back in beginning of May. Was that right? Or was it April?
I think it was April, but it might have been March, and then they split it up because the 0.5 patches, they always break it up so that they can reveal part of the story
for the main next stuff, yeah.
For like the Fan Fest. And so they released this one earlier, and then we had to wait a long time for them to release the next part. Mm-hmm. And like as of this recording, there's also been 2 additional patches, 5.56 and 5.58, which just came out yesterday. So
yeah, very small, but they did what they had to do. Like add the diamond weapon Gwibber, which I feel like they didn't do that, right, for Seiryu until the expansion came out.
I think that's right.
I think that's the case because I remember really going hard for that one. All right, yeah. So here we are, talking about patch 5.5, which was, again, divided into 2 parts. So the first part, first off, let me lead with, this is the most it has ever been the pre-expansion patch. Having played through some recently, the pre-expansion patch is always generally, I feel like, the most lackluster story, tied with usually like 0.2 patch. Because it's like, you're almost getting somewhere, but, they're saving it.
Yeah, they like to, especially with the flow of the MSQ, they really like to spend a long time winding up the punch, and the 0.2 and 0.5 patches are like the part where the wind up is like done, but they still have to hold it, because your life will end 30 months from now, basically. But yeah, I can agree with that. This patch story was, it did what it had to do. It was serviceable, but it wasn't like especially like, oh, this is the height of like the Shadowbringers storyline, because it's the end. Like we're done. We're going on to the next one, but we can't go there yet. Yeah.
It's more of a prologue, if anything, than an epilogue of any kind. Like, the epilogue is really, right, like, that was 5.3. I mean, even epilogue feels...
But, like, that one...
small compared to what that stuff is.
But 5.3 was, arguably one of the best patches in the entire game.
Yeah.
And like, that one still had lead-up stuff, but it wasn't entirely lead-up stuff. That was just teasing what was coming. But... this patch is just, we already know that there isn't really going to be a whole lot. So what do you want to talk about first with this patch?
Let's see here. So sequentially, I guess. we'll save the fight for later because I know you want to fight for Save the Queen. Let's see here. Well, right away, final EX trial, right, for the expansion. Diamond Weapon, I would say the most underwhelming of this expansion's raids. I'd say, like, mechanically, it's fine, but just in presentation, I find it to be fairly boring, fairly unintegrated, which is something that I think Shadowbringers was really impressive with, was their integration between, music, gameplay, story, all these things. It just felt like a very, like, it felt like someone trying to do that, but then not really doing it. At least to me. I don't know how you feel about it.
So, I did a lot of grinding for Diamond Weapon to get the Diamond Quiver. I had like 150 odd totems by the end of it. I got the dragon within like 80 clears or whatever, but that was way more clears than you need to do. Because what I could have done is I could have just waited and I could have bought the dragon like yesterday. Because that they also added in 0.58 that you can just buy it now. And this one also, weirdly, you get 2 totems for it. Like Hades. Which is weird because it doesn't...
It's really long.
It doesn't
feel like
long,
it, but it is.
And it makes me wonder, like, well, why couldn't they just go back to Ruby Weapon and let you get 2 totems for that? Because
absolutely, yeah.
That one's even longer. I know it gives you a checkpoint,
Emerald,
but...
Emerald isn't that bad, having just finally gone and done it. That one is probably the easiest of them, I think.
I actually think Diamond is the easiest of...
It might be... It might be. I wonder if I only feel like it's not because it's at power cap, right? So it's like structured around having the best possible gear, whereas the other one's not necessarily when they came out.
Oh, sure. I think... Now, I don't think Diamond Weapon is the easiest of all of the Shadowbringers EX fights. I definitely think that Innocence...
we can't include the first 2.
Innocence is easy, and Titania is just barely a little bit harder than Innocence, but they're both pretty easy. Hades, I feel, is also fairly easy, but it's mostly just like that fight is long. But I think on release, Hades was, a bit more difficult because people just couldn't, like, gear strength their way past mechanics and stuff. But yeah, I think Diamond is, like, very middle of the road overall. Like, it's difficult enough, but it's not as difficult as Emerald was. I think Ruby, honestly, is the hardest one that they released out of the whole expansion. Just because that second phase requires everybody to execute their mechanics perfectly, or you just wipe. And not really any of the other ones had that, except for maybe Warrior of Light during like the ad phase, and when it's the Summoner Warrior Spectre phase. But Diamond, I think Diamond was like medium difficulty. Design-wise, I kind of enjoyed it. It looked really cool, especially when it broke off its armor and got this really cool, like, skeletal, like, feral monster form that I don't think anybody was expecting, because Diamond Weapon in Final Fantasy VII doesn't do that shit. So
why does it turn into Ifrit?
I don't know.
Why? Like, I guess it's just supposed to be a Zoids reference, right? But
it turns into fucking dry Ifrit.
Ugh. Foul. Ifrit's already so dry.
Yeah. Now it's just all bones. I guess the thing that I really liked about it was it definitely used like the Ifrit model in the rigging, but its moves in that form are like Auri, like Aura, because it's based off of Alphonse, who's an Aura man / teenager.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
It's kind of like a monstrous form of the Auri, which is conceptually cool. But it's hard to convey that because people, like, I guarantee you, people weren't thinking that when they saw that. They were just like, what is this big giant fucking cat Zoids mech here?
I guess you're right. I didn't think about, like, conceptually the Oversoul is him, right? It's him. It's him and the others who are all Aura also. Like, it makes sense. But yeah, I think, you know what really does it is I am thoroughly unimpressed anytime a fight in this game has one song.
Yeah, the song is really kind of unimpressive. It's not a bad
In an expansion
song.
of bangers is
Yeah.
the thing. Like Ruby Weapon obviously reuses some songs, but those were still banger songs. So, you know, it's like...
Mm-hmm. And my favorite's the Emerald Weapon second phase song out of all of them.
Yeah,
It's good vibes.
it's good to mix. Yeah, it's the best of their instrumental tracks that I think they've done.
Yeah.
Out of the boss fights, because I remember being unimpressed by Zervin. I like Seiryu, but still pretty unimpressive compared to, like, Sunrise right before that, and Byakko,
Yeah.
Matsukaze.
Once again, we get kind of screwed over with the 0.5 EX, where, like, we had the Warring Triad, where we had, like, Sephiroth has a vocal track, then Sophia has a vocal track, and then Zervin, no vocals. And, like, the instrumental stuff, it's not like oh, it's an instrumental track, so it automatically sucks. It's just, I like this, and I'm speaking as somebody who loves the Zervin song. It was just kind of disappointing because that was one of the first patches where I was already at endgame, and it's like, oh, cool, I get to hear the new song, and it's like, I was expecting, like, this big, huge finale banger, and it doesn't really sell it that. Like, I think...
You hear the demon, right? And you go, oh, the demon's going to have a sick song, and then it's just, like, a violin, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Again, it's good. Just...
I think Sophia would have been better as a capstone to the Warring Triad, just because her song is fucking incredible. And then with the Four Lords, it's like we got the Byakko song, which I wasn't initially impressed with at first, but it grew on me over time as I was, like, farming Byakko, and I was like, actually, this rips. And then the Suzaku song, which is sung by one of the voice actresses who is part of Love Live, which is very funny.
Ellie.
Yeah. And that song's really good. And then we get to Seiryu, and it's like, okay, it's got some sort of, like, you know, it almost sounds like a Beach Vibes song, but it doesn't have vocals, and it doesn't hit in the same way that the other two do. And I feel like we got that again with the Weapon series, where Ruby Weapon started in real strong, even though it was reusing, like, the Ultima theme and the Flight of the White Raven theme. And then the Emerald Weapon, which fucking that song just rips. And then we get Diamond Weapon, which just has one song through all of the fight.
Yeah.
So,
And it's just, I'm not impressed by it at all. It's totally fine. The mechanics are all fun, and I like how they integrate things. It's just a thoroughly unimpressive fight. You tell me it's a fight where you fight a mech on top of two planes, bouncing between the two planes, and I go, oh, that sounds cool, and then it's just really boring. I don't know.
Yeah. Mechanically, it's... like, Flood Ray is very funny to watch people mess up. My only issue with the fight itself is that the phase transitions really, really fuck up your rotation, because I actually cleared most of my... I got most of my clears on Ninja, and there were certain parts where you just have to hold, like, Trick Attack in your whole burst window, because you're only going to get half of it in if you do it on time, which, like... you know, you have to do that for a lot of fights anyway, but Diamond Weapon having like two of them was really annoying. And there's a bunch of sections where you can't, especially during, like, the Zoids mode, there's a bunch of mechanics where you just can't hit the boss at all. But
it's thoroughly fine is how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Thoroughly fine.
Story-wise, it was very funny. The sound design for the conclusion.
It was a choice. Yes, it was a choice. I think with regards to this narrative, I am sitting here at the end going, did they really have to include the weird, like, pedophilia stuff? Was that really necessary? Like, did the dude wasn't evil enough? The Garlean man?
Yeah, it was really
like
bad.
It just felt so bad, especially because there was another aspect of that and another storyline that I can't remember off the top of my head right now, where it was just like man, why are they doing this? But yeah, that was fine. The ending was nice. It reminded me of FF7, so they did a good job there, just with the the very like particles going everywhere and stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff for Gaius to make him into an actual character. It's nice to see, at least. Again, I don't think it's particularly up to snuff with the rest of Shadowbringers, but it was fine.
Yeah.
I think the funniest part, hands down, is when there is a ghost of Ridditon, Sasarvina, just conceptually.
Yeah, everybody loves that guy.
Oh yeah.
The love is, well, it's mostly as a joke, but people do love that man. But that part really rubbed me the wrong way, only because that scene where it's like showing like the flashback of like, oh, this is when they all used to hang out and stuff, and these were the 2.0 villains, and it's like, you didn't cover any of them at all. Like, I can go with you on this. This is like a Gaius history storyline, but like, we didn't talk about anybody else. Like,
also, like, the good old days of the fascist occupation.
Yeah, for real.
It was just very like, what is going on? Like, I think it's fine to create a story about a guy who is genuinely, like, reckoning with his past when he's done completely horrible things like Gaius did. And having people come to accept him. But it's just, like, you don't need to go that far, I think. You really don't need to go so far as it's like, oh, thank God. He's reminiscing about the time he's raising the war orphans he created.
Yeah, that was a bit too much. Yeah, and then with Valens von Varro, weird to find out in this patch that his whole motivation was that he wanted to be emperor. That seemed like a really weird motivation, in my opinion.
Imagine seeing Xenos and thinking you could do anything about that.
Yeah. I mean, not that Xenos would really even care about being the emperor anyway, but, like...
Imagine seeing... Even fucking, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? Varys. Yeah, like... Imagine, like, seeing him fly around like he does in Memoria, which I assume he could have canonically done, probably.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, I could do that. I can beat him.
I just need a Big Mac. Give me like 3 years to do R&D.
I can become a toilet. Hold on. That's what I think of. Varys looks like a toilet. But yeah, I think that's we got it. That's that storyline.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I think across all of the EX storylines, I think I might like Four Lords more. Just because the ideas from Four Lords, like, oh, I can have my minion, like, be just an auspice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Where it has, like, the little friends. So, it's a good idea. But I think this one was fine. I
definitely feel like Four Lords was sort of rushed. to an extent. Like, it definitely feels like the
absolutely.
type of thing where they were planning to have a fourth fight, like, for real, definitely, and then they just didn't, against the big thing, the big guy.
Koryu.
Koryu, yes. That they used a Kirin model for.
Yes. I agree that part was absolutely rushed. But I think the weapon series was pretty good. I think it delivered on the promise of we're fighting the Final Fantasy VII weapons and Final Fantasy XIV, and they were all fun fights, and that storyline has some fucked up shit in it, but overall it's perfectly fine. I loved my favorite stuff was the G Warrior stuff, though. That was fucking genius.
It was really weird that it was really good. It was really good. It's really weird that it didn't actually come to mean anything, you know? Like, I didn't actually...
They mostly just used it for the Sapphire weapon fight, and that was it. Bit of a shame.
Because, like, they seemed like they were setting it up for it to be used in, like, a fight. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even just thematically, if it was, like, a set piece.
I thought it was going to be, like, oh, we can't use it for Emerald Weapon, and then Diamond Weapon, and it's like, okay, there's going to be a solo duty where you fight it, and then you, like, disable its, like, flight module or whatever, and then you fight it like a normal EX fight on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought it was going to be like.
Speaking of thought it would be like... Nier was fine. I didn't think that it would be like anything particularly resonant is what I was going for. I didn't think it was going to be anything mind-blowing. But totally fine. Totally serviceable.
Yeah, so the last time we did this podcast, I hadn't played Nier Automata yet. And I had been saying since the very first episode that, oh man, we're doing Yorha, I gotta play that game. And now finally at the very end of the Shadowbringers patches, I have played Nier Automata. I've gotten all 5 of the story-based endings, and now that I can fully understand what's going on with the Dark Apocalypse stuff and Final Fantasy XIV, yeah, I agree. This last one was perfectly fine.
I think like the first one led with the impression that it was going to go into some real shit, and then it sort of didn't. I think it did for like a broader Drakengard sense. I think it's fundamentally interesting. I have a bunch of ideas I could tell you about how it integrates with Replicant and a couple other things. And I think like the final boss itself, very interesting, very well done. But if you're not a Drakengard sicko like me, even I would say like a sicko, like I'm not even saying you having finished Automata. I would say like you have to be like, you have to know, like you have to play Drakengard 3, you have to play fucking Drakengard 1, you have to play Nier Replicant and be like, oh yeah, here's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what that final boss is for. Still pretty impressive though.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know any of that stuff. Because the chronology for me is I played the Tower of Paradigm's Breach, the final Alliance raid, and then I played through Nier Automata, and then I looked up some stuff for Drakengard 1 and 3. I debated whether or not I was going to look up stuff for Replicant since that new one came out like a couple months ago. And it's like, I could just go and play that, which I kind of want to do. But, like, I still remember my impressions of going through the tower for the first time, and I thought, like, yeah, this is pretty fucking cool. Like, even if you don't know what's going on, the final boss of Paradigm's Breach is really good. I think it's the perfect case of, if you don't know anything about Nier Automata, you can still get some enjoyment out of this raid. It's just having played it, and the more you have played the Drakengard series, the more you get out of it.
Yeah, which I feel like is similar to the Ivalice stuff, but even still, I feel like the difference with Ivalice was it felt more like a well, here's what it would be like if the good thing happened, or like whatever. Like if I went thematically somewhere else with it, whereas this is just very like another what is the term? I can't think of it. It's not appendix, is it? It's not
Annex?
I don't know. Annex. No. Another just part. Another addition to the Nier Automata endless true canon, because there is no true canon, because canon doesn't matter. Which is sort of the prevailing notion of Nier and all that stuff is.
Yeah. Something. Perhaps now we understand that not everything needs to have an answer.
Yeah, exactly.
What's funny is that after I finished Nier Automata, I got to thinking about the Dark Apocalypse stuff in 14, and I thought, wait a minute, you could easily make an interpretation that in ending D, I think it is, where the rocket successfully leaves the planet, that rocket ends up going to the first.
Yes, I believe that is generally what it seems like, because the coin for Paradigm's Breach says the Ark on it.
Yeah,
which is that was so.
So
it would make sense.
It's also very funny with how factoring in Drakengard, because all the Nier stuff comes from one of the endings of Drakengard 1. And so it's very funny of whenever they switch to a different video game, they have to use another ending from the previous series of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think. Do you want to talk about do you want to focus on the story or on the actual alliance raid itself?
We can talk about both. I haven't done the weeklies. I'm going to level with you.
Okay, I just finished the weeklies last week, I think. I missed it a couple times, so it took me a bit. But we can talk about that later if you want.
Sure.
Story-wise, I think it's totally fine.
Yeah. It's just fine.
It has the vibes of Nier Automata just in Final Fantasy XIV, which is what it has always been for all three of the story patches here. The music really helps because they just kind of ported over the songs.
They use a lot. They use a lot of the music, as opposed to what one of the problems I had with the Final Fantasy XII stuff was it was Final Fantasy XII music and tactics music, I guess, as well, that was on very bad loops and just sort of kept going forever and felt very yep, this is happening. Didn't really create an atmosphere to me.
Yeah. Let's see.
Boss-wise,
a lot of people that I know who have played the Nier games were like, wow, this really just seems like they're trying to advertise that, hey, Replicant's coming out.
Yeah. So I got really mad about the first boss, which is
the Knave of Hearts.
The Knave of Hearts from Nier Replicant, because not only does it have absolutely nothing to do with Automata, absolutely nothing. I can say this affirmatively. It also doesn't have anything to do with the Knave of Hearts and Nier Replicant. The mechanics have nothing to do with what it does. They don't have any fun gimmicks that are Nier based, which is sort of, I believe, one of the people I know, Beryl on Twitter, was talking about how it would have made sense for them to do hey, you have to sacrifice a party member or whatever to finish it. That would be a novel little thing or whatever, because that's what you have to do in Nier Replicant to beat it. It's sort of this immortal thing that's just you keep cutting it up and it just keeps coming back as a worm and it grows back an arm, stuff like that. So you wouldn't get that from playing this fight. You would think that it has clones.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It just felt very like, well, we need a boss, and we have this asset, so.
It also does this really weird, like it jumps up onto the platform to do like proximity damage, and the model just like schmoops up there. It doesn't like do an animation of like jumping up on it just kind of like moves. It's really weird. Like maybe it does have an animation, but it doesn't look. But like it's so big that it's hard to like see it because it doesn't. You can't fit all of it on your screen. I do agree that like a lot of the fights here, in Tower specifically, just feel like there's a lot of stuff that just kills you instantly if you don't do it, which is fine. Love that stuff. It's great.
Okay.
But the part that I have a problem with is like the first boss is just really like a nothing boss fight. It's almost like a mini boss. It doesn't feel, because like you said, like I played through Nier Automata and never saw this thing, and then kept seeing stuff for Replicant, and I was like, hey, that kind of looks like the thing in Replicant. And people kept saying, oh, this is just from Replicant. And I'm like, why is this even here then?
I'm also, not to get too ahead of ourselves, I'm very disappointed because seeing when they first showed that stuff that was going to be in the new raid, and having Yoshi P say they're going to put classical Nier outfits in, iconic classic Nier outfits, made me think, oh, they're going to put Replicant outfits in because they have all the high-res models or whatever. No, they didn't. They put in Anemone's outfit, which, listen, as the sole Anemone and A2 fanfic writer on the internet, thank you. Truly, thank you for this. But it was Anemone, like, recolored a couple times, and then Devil and Popola, and then just a really generic, again, Yorha outfit. Overall, I feel like these outfits have been pretty underwhelming. It's nice to have the 2B dress, and there's a couple parts that work really well, but as cohesive sets, not that impressive to me.
You're talking overall, or just for Tower specifically?
Overall. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird,
especially gender locked.
Oh yeah, that's
like
the
gender
part
lock is just stupid.
Like, here's the thing: there were gender locked in the first one, and people are like, "This is bullshit. I hate this." And then for the second one, they didn't gender lock any of the outfits, and it's like, "Oh, okay, cool. They learned the lesson." And then we get Tower, and it's like they gender locked them again.
Just bizarre.
So the fending and maiming sets are the generic Yorha Type 55 stuff, which I think it still looks good. They have like individual pieces to them that are really, really nice, but they're just the generic Type 55 stuff because they didn't want to add like a specific character. And then the casters and healer get Devila and Popola, which they gender locked by way of, if you are a male character, you wear an undershirt so you can't see any like side midriff on your character.
Bizarre.
Which is the weirdest change possible, because there are plenty of outfits where guys will show their tums or their sides or their backs or their entire
or
torso.
Their whole torso. Yeah. Bizarre. No, it can't be gay, though. It can't just be... That's, like, too gay, you know?
And then we have the Anemone outfits for strikers, scouts, and aiming. And if you're a female character, then yeah, it's the Anemone outfit. But if you're a male character, it's just the generic... It's either the generic like androids in Nier Automata outfit, like the obsolete androids, or alternatively it's the Jackass outfit, because I believe Jackass also wears that set. But it's just weird because like I have heard so many people go like, I'm playing a character of this gender, but I really like these sets on the other gender. And I think both of them look good. Like the Anemone version and the Jackass version both look really good, but it's just kind of unfortunate that you can only wear one or the other.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you doing? I thought you learned this lesson from Puppet's Bunker. Come on.
I thought they learned the lesson in general at the beginning of Shadowbringers when they were talking about moving away from gendered stuff as a whole. Yet here we are in a patch that has cosmetic gear that is gendered. So,
Well, I mean, they just released Reen's outfit on the Mock Station last night, and
just
it's
yesterday.
female only.
Just liars. I honestly don't know if there's too much else to say about the raid. Like, the final boss, like we said, very cool, very impressive. Love the Drakengard references.
We finally were able to do hacking, which I was really happy about.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Like, having played Nier Automata, a lot of people said that, they couldn't get through Route B because of the hacking, and I'm like, you're all out of your gourds. The hacking is very
It's
fun
not
in
that
game.
bad. And
It's
you
fun.
just get the chips also to make it stronger. It's fine.
Yeah, or hell, if it's really that bad, just get the chip that makes it so that you auto-hack stuff. I don't care. They give you the option here to continue playing the game without doing the parts that you don't like. There's no excuse.
Not to go too far into this, but some people just hate reading.
I guess.
But yeah, it was that.
So the weekly quests, they're basically just like Nier Automata ass side quests where they make you just go do like go all the way across this map and pick up this item, or do this very gimmicky 2.0 design side quest that you haven't had to do for thousands of hours in this game. That when you realize that what they're asking you to do, you'll be like, oh my god, I haven't done this in forever. And then it kind of just ends with a small little epilogue. I won't spoil it for people who haven't done it, but it does do like a little side scroll or like a credit scroll for, and it talks about like on each of the data centers and each of the servers what the ratio was for people picking a certain option in the storyline. But it's not super impactful. It's just trying to invoke that feeling of Nier Automata.
Right.
And there's not really, there's no consequence for, if your server picked this option more or this option more. It's just, I think what they were doing with that initial option is they were choosing, unbeknownst to all of us, we were choosing how the story was going to wind up, because we basically chose what happened to one of the characters without realizing that's what we were doing. But it's fine. You get the really good instrumental version of Weight of the World when you finish the weekly quest, so I do recommend doing it, because that song is good. But yeah, overall I think this was fun. It was a good crossover. I just wish we had gotten the flight unit mount or the pod
Very
mount.
strange to me, because the animation is there for all races. It's just bizarre.
They also have the animation for the flight unit just because they had to animate it in the game, but also we got the Gabriel mounts, which basically have the same rigging. But the reason I want the flight units is because your character actually rides inside them instead of the Gabriel where you ride on top of it, which looks really goofy. But yeah. This was fun. They said something about maybe doing more Nier stuff in Final Fantasy XIV in the future, but we'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah. Not to get ahead of ourselves. Well, actually, we can just go into that now if you'd like. The Save the Queen stuff.
Sure.
So yeah, to lead with a good transition off of what you're saying, Yasumi Matsuno, the writer of Save the Queen and Final Fantasy Tactics, etc., the release rates, has said he's never working for Final Fantasy again, that their partnership has ended, and that he won't be writing anything more. It's a very strange conversation he had where this was revealed, but I'm glad, Cat. We're fighting. We're not actually probably going to fight that much because I'll probably be like, I understand what you're saying. But I was not a big fan of the Save the Queen storyline. I'm a big fan of Misiha or Mizisha. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Messija.
Naseeja? Okay. I'm a big fan of her. I was glad that they finally used the Lady Rogan in the story again. I thought that she was really compelling because they were sort of doing Yzael again. And then, they sort of did Yzael again.
Yeah.
Very directly. I felt like this whole thing just felt very, like... Honestly, I don't want to blame Matsuno too much for this one. It felt like the Final Fantasy dev team wasn't giving enough of a shit about it. That's how I feel about Zadnor and the Vosgen Southern Front as a whole. Thinking back on Eureka, which was something that I never truly liked that much, going from those very dynamic and interesting environments they felt like you were exploring this hidden area and stuff like that. And I understand that the vibes for this were different, but going from that to rock, it's all rocks everywhere, no matter where you go. Just wide open spaces. Pretty underwhelming, I have to say. Just from a presentation standpoint. And the story just sort of goes, at least in my opinion, for Zadnor, where it's just sort of like they're building up Gabranth this whole time, and then they don't do anything with Gabranth.
So, overall, I think Save the Queen is a hit and a miss.
Mm-hmm.
On the hit side, I think the content that they had to do was really fun. I did all of Eureka except for the Baldessian Arsenal during 5.3, and I was a big proponent of Eureka when it was on launch. And going back and doing that content, I still think it's really fun. And so the Save the Queen stuff, I think, was equally fun, just in different ways. But the problem was, as we have seen with every patch since it's been introduced, so I'll point out Castrum as an example here. So they implemented Castrum, and it was very difficult for people to get parties together to do it. Because Castrum popped and you had 1 minute to get in or you were just fucked. And then if you wipe too many times on the first boss, it's just the run's over. And the rewards from Castrum were not enough, to the point where once you did Castrum enough times and got what you wanted, you didn't do it again. So there was even less people trying to go for it. And this got better and better as they started buffing the incentives and giving more rewards for doing Castrum, but it was a constant state of them having to play catch up to the things that they had already implemented. Like, Castrum got buffed multiple times throughout 5.4 and even 5.5. It had a 6-minute timer. When Zadnor was introduced, they added a system where you could proc the Dalriada or Castrum by doing critical engagement. So those things would normally go on like a 1-hour timer, but you could get that timer down by doing the rest of the content. And then they buffed the rewards you get from Castrum, not only just the coins, but they recently buffed how many of the fragments you get. And this patch, the patch that came out yesterday, they buffed it so that the section in the Castrum where you have to stand on the switches to unlock the next door, they made it so that you just have to press those switches. You don't have to put a player on those switches. So now they believe that it's possible for people. It's possible for a 5-person team to clear Castrum now, because you don't have to have a person sit on a switch. You can just go around and tackle each of the hallways one at a time. So on the gameplay side, it's hit and miss, because the content's really fun, but they were constantly playing catch up with making people want to do the content. Because, again, another thing they tried to fix from Eureka was, we're building this content around the relic weapon. But a big complaint we had with Eureka was that we only let players do Eureka, where they were used to doing like the Anima weapons or the Zodiac weapons, where you could kind of pick and choose what you wanted to do to grind out your relic. So this time they gave people options for nearly every step, and there were problems where it was like the very first step is like, yeah, you can grind in the Bosnian Southern Front to maybe get memories, or you can just do Heavensward Fates and guarantee memories after 20 Fates and you're done. So they were constantly having to balance that in ways that were bad.
Yeah.
Story-wise, I still think Save the Queen was hit and miss because some of the high points were really fucking good. I fucking love Lion. What a great character. What a great guy. I can't wait for him and Pagaga to teach us how to be Beastmasters. It's going to be great.
Pagaga is a standout. Came out of nowhere, did nothing, and everyone loves her.
Like, I know that you're not big on the Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy Tactics writing, and that's fine. I definitely think that it's the same case with the Nier stuff here, where like you get more mileage out of it if you're more invested in those titles.
So here's the thing. I am invested in FF12. I like FF12. It's just...
Okay.
It's that I don't know anything about tactics too much. So I know who Gabranth is. I just don't think this is a compelling Gabranth comparatively to the other one. As it were. The other Gabranth.
But I will say that I think the strength of the Save the Queen like story stuff is the inclusion of side characters in the content. Like Pagaga is great. All the little like mini villains that you fight throughout both of the areas, like the fucking Dark Souls pyromancer dude.
Yeah,
he's great. I like how they included Oboro and Tsubame from the ninja quest lines, and they even reference in the little notes that you get that, oh yeah, remember that time when Oboro was in the like a Stormblood main scenario quest with Alphino for like all of 6 seconds?
It was really funny. That. Yeah.
That stuff's good. The miss part with Save the Queen is a lot of the stuff they do with Masio, where they ask you a question of like, do you want to like, she asks you to end her life because she did the big thing, and it's like you get a choice of yes or no, and they, regardless of which one you pick, they don't let you just do it. Not like your character hasn't killed like thousands of people at this point.
That would be too far. Also in general, I just felt like that was really stupid. It felt like if you did some of the reading for the writing, it really looked like they were leading into talking about how like this is twice now that Final Fantasy has done the revolutionary made some mistakes, even if they had really good ideas, and they get to die, and then it's like the fascist who made really bad ideas. You know, like the people who benefited from like a really unbalanced society, like in Bosnia, that they talk about. Like that's part of her whole thing, is this idea that like if we restore Bosnia, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter who has it, Garland or Bosnian rule. Like the same people will suffer from the same ways, and that a system like that shouldn't be like celebrated or like stuff like that. And then just seeing that be like a type of thing where it's just like it goes nowhere really. Like it's just, in the end, she's just, everyone's like, oh, that villain. I love the queen who did this, and you know.
Yeah. The other part that I think was a big miss is that I really feel like this storyline needed like to be implemented one patch earlier. Like,
yes, definitely.
When we got to Gongos and we learned about the Resistance and got introduced to some of the characters, there was nothing to do. We could do Memoria Misera to get our Diable Shadowbringers artifact sets, and that was it. That patch needed to be in like 5.1, and they needed to honestly not have Memoria Misera be the method by which you get the Diable stuff.
They sure didn't.
That stuff should just become Diable, and I'm glad that somebody asked that question to Yoshi P in a recent interview. And he was basically like, I think in easier, because somebody asked like, hey, can we get like the option to can we get the items to dye our like artifact gear like earlier on in the patch so we can like dye that stuff? And he straight up just said, I think maybe we should just like let you dye it from the beginning. Like it should just be dyeable. We shouldn't have the antiquated stuff anymore. And I was like, thank God, because to this day you cannot dye any of the artifact weapons because they immediately get turned into resistance weapons that have a completely different model.
Which is weird because they used to make them dyeable, right? Didn't they, with the old relics?
Yes, they used to be dyeable. It's also weird because those weapons and that gear was created on another planet, so it doesn't make sense that they become dyeable by you visiting Sid's memories and beating up Zenith's dad. It's very weird. Not that I think that Memoria Misera is bad content. That was a very fun fight, and there was actually a moment where I cleared it on Monk, where I was the only person alive, and I still had to do 0.5% of his health, and it was just him and me. That was very satisfying.
Something similar, yeah.
But I just think that whole sequence should have been in 5.1, and then 5.2 they give us Memoria Misera, and then they also give us or they even give us it in 5.1, I don't care. And then 5.2 is they have the BSF, or they have something prior to the BSF, because I don't think they gave Messia enough time with her character and what they were doing with her character. They didn't give it enough time to boil over, because when she did like the face heel turn, I was like, where the hell is this coming out of? Where the hell is this coming from?
Mm-hmm.
So, or they either needed to give us more time with her character, or they needed to give us more time with her being imprisoned so we could like understand her viewpoint more, and would make the whole sequence where she sacrifices herself at the end of the Save the Queen storyline to have a bit more gravitas to it. I don't know.
Anything, really, just anything.
Yeah.
Because it just really felt like it just happened, I guess. I was very unimpressed.
Yeah. You want to know what my least favorite part of Save the Queen is?
What?
All the stuff with Geralt.
Oh, okay, yes, absolutely, hands down. I forgot about this until you said it. I was thinking about it earlier when I was talking about the bad writing with the pedophilia stuff with that villain. This is so much worse. So just like immediately, like this is just really foul. I went back and finished the Eureka weapon, and that was bad enough, but it pales in comparison to the absolutely grim shit they just pile out as a joke at the end of the storyline. I don't know why they think alcohol abuse is funny as just a leading thing immediately. I might have a pet peeve about that, but I don't know why they think that that's okay. I don't know why they think it's funny that Rowena has slaves.
Yeah.
I don't know how the resolution to the storyline was interesting or compelling or anything. I don't know why they think any of this is funny. It really made me mad. I got really, really mad about this.
I think if they're going to have this kind of writing with Geralt's character, they just need to retire his character. Let him make his kettles in peace. Free him from Rowena.
I was just thinking about how in the first quest line, the Zodiac quest line, okay, and even the Anima quest line, the joke isn't that Geralt is an alcoholic in debt. That's not the joke. That's like some subtext that gets picked up. The joke is that he is just a fucked up man. That's the joke. He's a fucked up man who doesn't wear a shirt and just goes around flexing everywhere, making kettles. And then, like, I think, like, the appeal of the Zodiac to me that they even leaned into with that, fucking, what's it called? The Kettle Quest line that they added in Heavensward. Like, the whole appeal of that is Jalzahn and Geralt are two fucked up dudes, and they're just hanging out.
Yeah. The joke is that Geralt is the last person you would expect to be the world's best blacksmith, and yet he is the world's best blacksmith.
Yeah, and then just seeing that thrown away for really just foul jokes, just, I was so mad.
Also, the weird, like, oh, maybe Rowena and Geralt were in a relationship at some point?
Yeah, like that weird wedding sequence in the first part.
Or like them, like, running on the beach and having a good time? Like, where the hell is this from? Like,
Yeah.
is this why he's an alcoholic? Like, because that also just isn't funny.
It's not. It really isn't funny.
That's a bit real. It's a bit too real for a character whose entire bit up to this point was, I'm really good at making kettles. Please just let me make kettles. God damn it, why do you need all these god-slaying weapons? Fuck you.
Yeah, like part of the joke that I'm tired of that joke also, realistically, of like the, haha, you're making so many weapons. You're so stupid. You'd do anything to make the swords. It's like, haha, yeah.
Yeah, it's not... It's just like, it's a joke I've heard a million times now.
Yep. Yeah, it was fine maybe once. Even then I was mad about it in fucking Heaven's Sword, but at this point it's just like, man. It really sucked. It really sucked the fact that they went this way, especially after they made Grenell. Like, that was like the ultimate joke to me. At the end of Shadowbringers, you just go see
It should have just been Grenell. It should have been... No, okay, here's how this should have worked. Here's how this should have went down. Number one, Rowena no longer has slaves. She pays everybody, and that's... Like, the script joke can still stay, but the script joke is for us. Like, she considers us to be chumps, but she still pays her employees and doesn't have slaves. Okay, number two, we get Grenell in contact with Geralt.
Yes, okay.
And then they do weird sicko shit together. That would have been fun.
We take Grenell through the rift the same way you take Rahatia. Our own Kalhai, I guess.
I mean, not even that. We could just give them, like, we could have Feoul send them messages to each other.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. I didn't think about that.
So
they could have done so much, and they didn't. They went for the easiest, lazy, bottom tier, like, gutter humor, in my opinion. Just absolute bottom of the barrel stuff.
Oh man, isn't it funny how he keeps forgetting his assistant's name? Wow.
It was way funny. I mean, it was kind of funny that he was calling him Drake. Like, that was funny. But then after that, when it's just like he doesn't remember the name, it's like, yeah.
Well, it was fine when at the end of it he did remember his name, and they make a point of like, holy shit, he remembered. Like, oh god. But then he goes right. But if you go make a second weapon, he goes right back to forgetting his name. Of course,
yeah.
Because, we can't have anything change.
Yeah, just mediocre stuff. Also just completely unintegrated with the story, even though ostensibly these were weapons that were supposed to be based off the thing. Very strange little thing. The fact that we saw weapons in the first quest of what the Save the Queen weapons looked like, and those are not the weapons.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's fine, because most of the weapons look fine.
Yeah. Like, the weapons themselves, they look fine. They have a really distinct glow effect where they've got, like, these weird Eidolon-shaped, like, crystal point things on them, and they come in different, like, formations based on the weapon. It's pretty cool. I tend to prefer to use the matte versions that don't have glows, but that's just because I'm a person who doesn't really like glowy weapons, especially on non-magical weapons, like on the Gunblade. But I do like the... I think my favorite one has to be the Machinist weapon, because it's a long barrel, double barrel shotgun with a lever action, and then it doesn't have a stock, so if you fired this with one hand, you would just fucking snap your wrist instantly.
Yeah.
Like, your hand would just fly off your hand. And then the glow effect gives it a scope. This is a shotgun that gets a scope. It's fucking incredible. Is there any weapon that you like or dislike?
Fine with the katana. I ended up switching back to the Law's Order one, though. Just because I like the billowing flames effect. Yeah, I don't know. The Dark Knight sword looks fine. Again, hard-pressed to compete with Cronus, though, right? I mean, how are you gonna...
I mean, I got the Dark Knight one a couple days ago, and I immediately glamored it back to the Ziphius from Eureka.
Oh yeah, that one's fine too. Yeah, that one's all right.
Like, I think it looks good. It's just I like the Ziphius more for my character. But it's really cool that we have a, for lack of a better word, an Inuyasha sword Dark Knight weapon now.
Yeah.
Where it's got like a curve to it. It's like a giant tooth.
Other than that, I haven't been really that compelled by it. The Gunblade is fine.
Yeah, I like the second and third steps of the Gunblade. I don't really like the first one, the Crown's Guard, but the other two look really good.
You don't like... That's crazy to me, because that's my favorite one. But yeah.
The Crown's Guard. I just don't like how the trigger is like a fish hook that you would just like skewer your finger on if you tried to pull it.
That's why you wear gloves.
And I don't really like the shape of the blade, but the other ones I really like because they look more... Like the Law's Order one's got like a fancy like marble engraving finish on it, which is really nice. It's got like a marble handle. Mm-hmm. And then the blade's resolve is just like the meatiest, biggest gun blade. Like I don't have to slice you. I can just give you a concussion by swinging this at you. It's good to me.
It's very fair. Other than that, I don't really know.
Okay.
I'm not making multiple relics this time around. I started to, and then I just was like, no.
I decided I was only going to make 4. I've made the Gunblade, the gun, and the Dark Knight Greatsword. The last one I'm going to make is the Red Mage one because I really like how the focus is just like floating text basically that it swirls around in like a double helix formation. That's really cool.
That is cool.
All right. I think those are all our thoughts on Save the Queen.
Yeah, we didn't fight as much as I thought it would. I thought you were going to say, oh, it's really good that Gabranth is dying or something.
I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, the Dalriada was a good instance. I like Zadnor, like, with, like, the mechanics they have. Like, I still like the field records are still a really good concept that I want to see them do more of in other content. My big things are, I would like having this content as long as it wasn't tied to a relic weapon. And also, I feel like we needed one more area.
Yeah.
And the writing stuff could have been better, and also stop just killing me with Geralt's bad writing, please.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
But like, I don't know. Like, I think it's fine, but with flaws that you have to. You're just gonna have to deal with however you want, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just decide, fuck all this content. I'm not doing this, which is totally valid.
Yeah, for me, just from the perspective of, like I said earlier, Shadowbringers really moved forward a step into integration and acknowledgement of everything that has come before. This actively, I would say, like, the Sid stuff, I've said it on the podcast before, the Sid stuff where they literally treat something Gaius says in the Praetorium as a big reveal is, like, the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
It really felt like it was made by someone who did a cursory read of the narrative rather than actually engage with it. But yeah. All right, main scenario. Honestly, not that much, I don't think.
I got Fordola content.
Yeah, me too. Me too, buddy. Me too.
Fucking love how Fordola's just still here, and I love how
mad she is. She's mad.
She's mad and pissed off at everybody, like she always has been, and it's great. And I also love how she's wearing the uniform that they gave her in like a screenshot from when they were doing Tales from the Storm, the little write-ups, the side stories.
That's right.
And it's like, if you didn't read those side stories, then you don't know why she's wearing a Rubelite choker for no reason. And now people who are listening to this are like, she was wearing a Rubelite choker? What the fuck? I gotta look this up. And then they're gonna look up and they're gonna realize what that is, and they're gonna go, oh shit. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Fortuno shows up.
Yes, Alphanod and LSA's ex-father now.
He shows up, is like, "Thank you for having me. Fuck you. You too. I'm disowning you. You're no longer Leviers." I was immediately like, "It's okay. You can be my kids.
They've been our kids. Come on,
They've been our kids already."
that man's not a dad. I am sticking to my fan theory that Alphanod's mom is going to end up being Anima. Just because of the way that she is talked about weirdly here. Like, oh, she loves you so much. Bah. Like, why is the conversation he has with her when he gets back is she's fine?
Yeah.
Is my thing. Like, what is that conversation? Oh, how did it go? How are the kids doing? Oh, disown them. Why? Oh, they wanted to save the world. Oh, okay. Like, what is that? Is that how it goes? What?
Oh, I disown them because I'm very normal and highly intelligent. You know, if you end up being correct and that Anima is their mom, that's gonna be super fucked.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what Final Fantasy X did, so.
I mean, yeah, but I was thinking more like Anima was gonna be like Xenos' mom.
Oh, Xenos doesn't have a mom. Come on. That man appeared fully formed one day.
Well, I mean, mostly the fact that, like, towards the end, they talk about, quote, the dreamer, unquote.
But who is the dreamer? Twin Peaks, am I right? Gamers.
Fuck.
Woo!
But yeah, I assume the dreamer they're talking about is Anima, but, I mean...
I don't know. I assume it's some fucked up person. I don't know. I assume it's some fucked up person. I assume it's like either something related to the Ascians, something related to the people who fucked with the Ascians, as it were, the Emerutians. I don't know.
Maybe.
I assume that. I mean, they said that part of the story is figuring out what happened to cause the final days, right? They said that, I think.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see where they go with that. Mick Van Daniel just did one of the standout things. So not a lot of standout stuff to me in these patches. Like, it was just like, yep, this is very end of the thing. Two standout things. One, the voice acting in English for the Beast Tribe leaders. Truly foul. Some of the worst I've ever heard in my life. I know COVID's tough, guys, but man, that was like 2.0 shit.
Well, they are the 2.0 Beast Tribe, so they were just...
That's just... Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't think about it like that. No, fuck off. It was really bad. What's it called?
Talking about the Amalda or the Kobold?
No, all of them. They just sounded awful. So yeah, I guess the dungeon with the Amalia Pagathan. I think it's lame that they made Pagathan a fucking dungeon because it looks beautiful.
Told it. They fucking Zelfa.
Yeah, they Zelfa told it. But Zelfatol, I get to an extent because it's mountains, it's caves. Like,
sure, that's hard.
Not really
to
thrilling.
Make into a zone.
Yeah, but Pagathan's like the Barons from WoW. Like, that could have been something.
It straight up is just the Barons from WoW, especially when you get to the last area.
Yeah.
So
it's just like, man, this is just like, this could have been something. It never will now. Kind of a bummer.
That is honestly one of the questions I wanted to ask the dev team for years now, like since like pre-Stormblood, is how do you decide which areas of the world to turn into zones and which ones you decide to turn into dungeons? Is it based off of how the story is written, or is it just based off of what the team like wants to do with like the zones in each expansion? Since each expansion only has 6 zones, and you have to pick and choose which ones you want, because like I think Zelfatol, Pagathan, and the Burn would have been really good areas to like explore more like intimately, and not just have them be dungeons, because and all 3 of them cover a pretty wide area of, you know, geography.
Yeah.
But then they just decide to just be dungeons for reasons, and...
Yeah, like, it's just really weird to think about how the entire southeast corner of Eorzeal, the corner, like a fourth of the map, basically, is a dungeon. One dungeon, not even like a raid, a dungeon.
I also want to point out the Hero's Gauntlet, the 5.3 dungeon, where you're going through parts of Amarang, Ilmeg, and Lakeland. Those do use, like, unexplorable areas of those zones.
Yeah.
But they still invoke the vibes of those locations pretty well. And especially in certain areas like Ilmeg and in Lakeland, it kind of looks like, oh, this is a dungeon version of part of the zone map. Even though in the case of Ilmeg it's not, and in Lakeland I think it's just barely not. Like, you're just right on the cusp of where the explorable area is. Mm-hmm. But, and this is a question I've been asking since Alamigo, is like, would they ever turn an area that was previously a dungeon into an explorable area, like making Alamigo an actual city-state you can visit, or like a residential area you can visit, or making, like, maybe in the future when we're doing other, like maybe in like 8.0, like, oh, they turn Pagelthon into an actual, like, area that we explore because some big thing happened there. But
it would be nice, but I have my doubts.
I don't like the dungeon gear from Pagelthon only because it's not dyeable.
Yeah, it is disappointing. It's because they have to make it crafted gear next expansion.
I know, but like,
or dungeon gear that is
very
dyeable
clearly
next
Amalja themed. Like, I don't know why they would make it crafted. But
I do have to say, kind of on the fence here about the concept of cosplaying as Amalia. Like, there's something about it compared to wearing the Vanu Vanu outfits to wearing this, like, tribal gear that just feels, like, weird to an extent to me. But that might just be I'm a very anti-WoW's weird tribalism stuff.
No, sure. I mean, there's, like, okay, the voice acting aside, because the voice acting didn't bother me that much, but it obviously struck a nerve with you.
It's so bad. Did you hear? Like, like, what the fuck was that?
I mean, I do like the part where the Sahagan leader just fucking screams at the table. And people are like, what the fuck are... And
Anonymous
like,
makes the face.
And Ameryk's like, I beg your pardon? And then he's like, oh, you're all just a bunch of, like, fucking wallflowered fucking killjoys. You don't know how to scream before battle. God. But I mean, this is part of the story where the 2.0, like, not just the 2.0, the 2.0, the 3.0, the 4.0, all of the beast tribes across the Eorzea come together and they join officially the Eorzean Alliance. So now it actually feels like the Eorzean Alliance because it's everybody. It's not just the city-states.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Thancred makes a note that Minfilia would be really happy about this moment. Just, you know, one little last mention for a fallen friend. And that reminds me, there's been a lot of points in this expansion where they just bring up Moonbrita.
Yeah, I wonder why that would be. It's almost as if the person who created Moonbrita was in the charge.
Yeah, weird. There was that whole sequence of freeing Tiamat, which was pretty cool.
Yep, big fan of that one. I liked that they acknowledged the fact that she was tempered to Bahamut, which was something that was sort of like subtext before, realistically.
Yeah.
It makes me hopeful that they're going to do Mericidia soon. It feels like sort of a natural lead-in to the first Brood stuff that they're going to do in Endwalker, since Vritra is there. Yeah. Always love to see the first Brood. Always love to see the first Brood.
We're only missing Azdaha,
and there's like one more. Isn't there another one?
Nope, that's the last one. We've seen all the other ones because there's been there's been Ratatoskr, Racefelger, Nidhogg. Then there's Vritra, Azdaja, and Tiamat, and Bahamut.
Bahamut, right? Yeah, okay.
So, because there's only
and Ryuko Matoi, don't worry.
Oh yeah, Ryuko Matoi, the hidden eighth.
The hidden one, yeah, the special one.
So, Yeah, I could see us going to Mercidia after we save the world and the multiverse. That'd be fun.
I feel like they're hiding the cool thing in Mericidia since it's such a groundwork of faith. It's such a place of faith, I think, conceptually. Like, that is where the Ascians went for the first time to go crazy, right?
Oh, maybe.
So, I don't know, maybe they'll do something with that. That's just where, like, that's where the Triad's from. That's where all this other stuff from.
I'm very concerned for when we eventually go to the new world because I'm not really ready for the writing.
Yeah.
The writing pitfalls that they can fall into that they basically fell into for the Blue Mage stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We will see. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, the funny other thing that I forgot to mention that I thought that stood out to me outside of the Beast Tribes talking was that Fan Daniel at one point is like doing a funny animation while he teleports away in midair.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It was just good. Fan Daniel could be compelling. I think it's insanely funny that everyone in Garlemald is apparently just fucking sitting around watching Xenos kill everyone Bloodborne style every once in a while.
I think most of them got tempered.
That's true. Probably true.
I mean, not everybody, not like literally everybody, but I think most people get tempered because that's the thing that Rianjay and Thancred come back to report is like they just saw a bunch of people like mindlessly building this big huge structure around the palace. So it's going to be quite something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have any other takes, I don't think. I mean,
Xenos is a Reaper now.
Yes.
Arnvald gets injured, and we get a model of a wheelchair in this game for the first time.
Yeah, for once. I imagine they'll integrate that, probably.
Yeah.
Probably as one of the fashion accessories, right? I assume they'd want to.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Where's my teddy bear, Yoshi P? I was so stoked when he announced the fashion accessories. He was like, you can hold the teddy bear. I was like, yeah! And then what, we had 8 umbrellas, angel wings. Okay.
There was that instance duty at the end, which I want to talk about briefly for one particular reason. It was really cool seeing like Lunar Odin and Lunar Ifrit and all that. That's all fine. But in that instance duty, we play as Alizé, Rianjay, and Grahatia. And combine that with the previous role-playing sequences where we play as Alphino, Y'shtola, Thancred, and Estinian, we have now role-played as all of the mainline Scions of the Seventh Dawn. In this
what
essay,
you're saying...
I will now explain that this means that everybody is on the table to be killed in Endwalker.
See, I was going to say, this is leading us into the groundbreaking, major, big, like, set piece duty where you play as Tataru to round out the set. Tataru and Kryl.
Oh, yeah.
Just both of them. Tataru is front and center on the Endwalker art that they've put out, so...
Yeah, I'm very curious about that.
I have no idea what that could imply, but...
Maybe she's going to do a big sacrifice. Maybe she's going to be the only Scion left.
She'll be the only one left. I'd be fine with that.
Maybe she's going to be more involved in the MSQ, kind of like how she was in Heavensward.
Yeah, that was nice. Alright. Should we just go over this miscellaneous stuff now, then?
Yeah, we can go over the MISC stuff.
Alright. They fixed desynthing for all the EX weapons. Was the little thing that I really liked.
Yeah, before this patch, desynthing would not drop the special material from the fight that the weapon's from, because they had like a weird simple programming error of they just didn't flick on, like they didn't turn something on And so they thought that they had been, they thought that they had a system in place for like, okay, you can turn the system, make sure that all the weapons that drop from a fight you can descent them and get this material. But they had been doing it manually because somebody, I guess, thought that like that had been turned off for a reason. And then they realized, wait, hold on, this is supposed to be on. So they have turned it on for all EX fights. So now every weapon from every EX fight, if you descent that weapon, it will have a chance to drop the material.
Whereas Thank God, because I didn't know that.
I mean, most people didn't know that. I think that's the problem with like basing stuff off of RNG a bit. Is if it doesn't work, it's like, how will you know that it doesn't work? You might just chalk it up to you having really bad luck. So, but that's good. What else?
The triple triad mount they put in, which is just a giant flying triple triad card for getting all of the. You can never. It will not be something that comes easier to get necessarily, because it is just the set amount of cards that all of the cards that exist currently in the game now, even in Endwalker, when they add more cards, you cannot get them out without getting all of them. You have to get all of these cards, like 1 through 300, 500?
That's 300. It's like 312
or something. 20?
There is an exception. There are certain crossover event cards that you don't have to get. Like, you do not have to get the Noctis card, or you do not have to get any cards that are on, like, the special page at the very end of the card list. You don't have to get those. But all of the cards that are permanently added to the game, you have to get. I've actually been playing a bit more Triple Triad, mostly because it's Make It Rain right now. Mm-hmm. And I figure, I might as well start doing the challenge log for Triple Triad, and I might as well start collecting the cards. But I know a fair amount of people who have gone like sicko mode for Triple Triad because they want the card mount. And one of them's almost done, except they need to do. They need to get. I think they need to get some cards from card packs that's completely random. Or they need to get them from like specific instance duties, like they don't have the Sephiroth card or whatever.
Yeah, there was a few that I was just looking at that I was like, I was considering it. Okay, I was genuinely considering it. Just, find something to watch, fuck around. But I saw like Eureka cards.
Yeah, that's it. Eureka cards.
There was one that was really like, why is this? I can't remember which one it was. But there was one that was similar to the Eureka cards where it's just like, that is too much work. I don't want to sit around doing nothing and waiting for Luhi to spawn for a 5% chance I get the Luhi card.
Yeah. It's weird too because specifically for Eureka, they implemented a system where they basically future-proofed Eureka content. So if somebody wants to come in and do Eureka content and to like get a relic weapon or get the dyeable stuff or whatever, or get rewards, you can finish your relic weapon without having to fight any of the bosses in any of the areas. Because if you go to I believe they're called like Skywatchers, they're NPCs that have like a lance. They will sell you the boss material that you need to craft for the upgrade for the weapon. So, like, it's weird to me that like you don't have to fight Luhi to get the Luhi ice that you need to upgrade the relic, but you still need to fight Luhi to get the triple triad card.
For the triple triad card, yeah.
Which people now have an incentive to get because there's a mount reward for it. So, and I believe there's a title.
Yes, it's no, wait, no, I don't remember what it is. I think it's like
I don't remember what the title is.
Master of the Cards. I don't know. Should have made it a Yu-Gi-Oh one. I don't know. Or FF8, like Lionheart. Put Lionheart behind that one. Real twisted.
Yeah. Triple Triad mounts fine. It looks neat. I don't feel compelled to get it as soon as possible, but I am more interested in doing Triple Triad, especially since they've been doing a lot of Triple Triad quality of life changes.
Rebalancing, yeah.
Couple of patches, and I can say, having played Triple Triad again, it goes by much, much faster now.
Definitely.
So, That's good.
It is. Also good is that they finally made it so you don't have to hit /p sort.
Yeah, so if anybody ever disconnected while you were doing content and they reconnected, it would often mix up the party list, and you would have to type in /p sort to fix it. But I think the bigger, like one of the last big quality of life changes from the Shadowbringers patches is that it will do that automatically now, which is nice. Because I have a lot of macros that are like, oh, shirk the person in party list number 2 because that's where my off tank is. Oh, the off tank is the one who disconnected and I'm accidentally shirking my healer. Great. Love that. So, that's good.
It is good. I'm shocked it took this long. There's an electric guitar for bards, which is part of a crossover they announced at the Fan Festival where Soken got to make a Fender guitar. Very stoked about it.
A lot of people are happy about that one.
It looks really cool. It also costs $1 billion. But you know how it is. Yeah, now you can listen to people playing midis basically in the overworld, which is kind of incredible. Some GarageBand ass shit. Some Casio keyboard guitar ass shit. Really incredible. I think it's good. New Game Plus is now filled out all the way. It's got everything.
I believe so, because MSQ, or not MSQ, the New Game Plus Complete, it added the they added the Save the Queen stuff, the Sorrow of Werlet stuff, and Shadowbringers Part 4, which is the 5.4 5.5 storyline. So I believe now every piece of content in the game is New Game Plusable. All of the Alliance raids, all of the normal raids, all parts of all of the MSQ, all expansions, and then I believe most of the side content, like the Hildebrand stuff. I think the only stuff they still have to do is the Stormblood class quests, but they might have even already had those in. Like those, it's either they need to do the combat classes and they still need to do, but they have the crafters and gatherers, or it's vice versa. I don't remember, but I might be misremembering. It might be everything. I don't know. But at least as far as the MSQ is concerned, you can New Game Plus the entire MSQ right now, and I figure when they add Endwalker, they'll just keep that up to date. Basically, they've stopped having to play catch up now, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd imagine that it would be fine. And the last thing, just about here, is that Eden's Promise Savage has been unlocked and has the Echo,
which they recently buffed in this patch that came out yesterday.
Yes.
Because it was previously 10% Echo and now it's 15%, and I figure we'll get a 5.59, which will add the final 5% Echo, or maybe they just add that in for Endwalker. We'll see. Yeah.
But we have been enjoying this. I know you didn't really have to when you were doing it before, but
yeah,
I remember you did. I don't know. You were doing.
I was
it before,
raiding
way
with
before.
my static, and we cleared Eden's Promise 7 weeks before it got unlocked, which was cutting it
Very
a bit
good.
close, but
still, good job. Good job.
Yeah. And now, since it's unlocked, I'm delivering on my promise to get people clears of Eden's Promise Savage floors, which has been very fun.
Yeah, I'm having a good time with it. It's been nice to do raiding again.
Yeah.
E10S is fun. That's the main one that we've finished already. Working on E12. That one's less fun. No, it's still fun. It's still fine. But yeah, it's good. Always good to see these raids get unlocked. I think they take too long with it. I'm gonna be real with you. I get the appeal of the racing. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I totally get when people are like, I want to clear this first. I want to clear this, or even people who just want to challenge. I feel like they can just have the challenge exist and also have it be more accessible with the unlock stuff way sooner.
I think they should have unlocked it in 0.5 and like 5.
That's what I yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like it should be like I would say even before that, honestly.
Like in the main 5.5 patch, they should unlock it. I could see that.
That's like 3.5 months after. Like
I know Christine and her static. They are doing re-clears of floors with Echo, but they're finally got to E12S and they're turning Echo off because they want to clear it like on content because
yeah, and that should be an option.
Yeah. So
but I just for a game that I think honestly no, I shouldn't even say that. I was gonna say that for a game that has so many great accessibility and stuff like that and modularity, that's not true. I should say that as much as I want to give them credit. In some cases, they have a long way to go with that stuff. I think that the divide is just so stiff because you're not just like there is no incentive for people who have let's say examples here. FC has a static, right? FC has a static, and some people aren't in the static, but they're interested in raiding, but they can't fit into the static, and there's not enough people otherwise. They just get fucked, right? Like, because the people are for months and months going in and doing their clears, and then if they go in with them, then they fuck up their chance to get a clear with good loot.
Yeah.
It's a stupid system that they could really work on.
I think they should maybe take a page out of how Destiny does raids. Not that I think that Destiny raids are better.
Exactly what I was thinking.
But Destiny raids have like a set thing of like they make a big whole scene and fanfare about like the
tournament
to world's first, and they have like I think it's actually called not tournament mode. It's called contest. It's called
contest. That's it. Yeah.
But like basically like yes, the world first rating thing is very exciting for a lot of people, people competing and people watching. It's a very exciting time, especially like when we get like a new ultimate fight and you get to watch people like throw themselves at really difficult, challenging mechanics. It's fun. But I think once people finish, there should be like a 1 week or 2 week period of like, okay, you can do normal stuff. And then they start working in like okay, now you can clear this with other people and you don't have to like, because I do agree that it felt like this last tier of Eden raids was just completely impenetrable for a long time. And like having cleared a Savage tier on content for once in my life now, I think it is easy to get people to that point, but I think it's easier to get people to that point if you unlock the tier earlier, because I was all ready to go in like getting you some E10S clears and getting a bunch of other people like other floor clears, because I've been wanting to help people with this, and it's like I don't think Savage raiding is that difficult as long as you're willing to put in the time and you're able to like just like I know finding a group is kind of difficult for some people, and I know some people who even like pugged, like just did Party Finder for entire tiers. Like I know people who did it for the first tier of Eden. But I think Savage raiding is way more approachable than people give it credit for. But I think it would be more approachable, like people would have more incentive to try it if they unlocked the tier earlier and they stopped punishing players from trying to teach people. Like, because the only reason I couldn't get people clear sooner is because I would have like basically cheated them out of loot or cheated my static out of loot.
Yeah,
which isn't
either
fair
way
for anybody, and nobody really cares about that. So
yeah. It's something that would be nice to see. I highly doubt we're going to see any radical changes to the system in Endwalker, just based on how they haven't talked about it. Yeah. No one's really brought it up in Q&As.
like from what I understand, it's better from a gearing up perspective than raids in WoW, where it's completely random who gets what, basically. Like a godsend for Shadowbringers raids has been that they switched to a coffer system for all tiers. So it's not like I remember clearing fucking Omega 6 and it dropped a diamond fending earring. So it was just me and the off tank who could roll on that loot and get that. But now it's like, oh, an earring coffer drop. So anybody, that's useful for anybody. But yeah, I just hope they make it a little bit more accessible.
We can hope.
Just a little bit.
In terms of accessibility, also, just they need way more accessibility options.
Yeah.
Colorblind mode is a joke.
Yep.
And more recently, something that was making me think of this was my girlfriend was playing through 2.0 and stuff, and she was having trouble with it, mainly because the text was so small. And I just kept being like, I thought there was a way to change the text, and there is, but it's so obfuscated, especially if you're playing on console. Do you know how to make the text bigger? Do you know how you do it for talking to people?
Is that in the character config?
No, it is not.
It's in systems?
No, it is not.
Where the fuck is it?
So, if you're on the PlayStation 4, as an example, using a controller, you have to talk to someone, not in a cutscene. In the overworld, you have to talk to someone, walk up and talk to them. You have to enter virtual mouse mode, and then you have to virtual right-click the text box, and then you can select the size.
What the... Because you can't do it in the HUD layout menu, because they don't have the text. That's so stupid.
Yeah, it's really bad. It took me forever to find it. I had to find a post on GameFAQs, of all places, to tell you how to do it.
Oh my god.
And that's just, like, why is that the case? Why is that happening?
Yeah, that's really bad. I know somebody, I was talking with somebody last night who was really annoyed at how often the game, I believe they're playing through, they're in Shadowbringers right now. They were playing through, they had gotten to Slitherbow in Raktika. And they were annoyed at how often the game was asking them to, like, type in party chat, or not party chat, public chat, like say chat, like just the greeting that you have to do. And for me, like, I remember being a bit, like, embarrassed to do that because I don't want people to perceive me in this MMO.
Yeah.
And so having to type in, like, free Kupo nuts or snailing all the time was just kind of annoying. But, like, eventually, like, you do it enough times, I got desensitized to it. And I even, when I was doing Moogle Tribes, I would make jokes like, hey, can somebody please take these free Kupo nuts off my hands and shit? But I can understand it being, you know, really annoying and embarrassing for people who don't really want to be perceived in an MMO. I know it's kind of like funny, you know, it's like, well, I mean, you're playing an MMO, of course there's going to be people around you, but some people are really frustrated with that. And I think it'd be fine. I think it'd be better if you could just type in the text box whatever it was, and then...
Yeah.
But... Because also it's just not really, like, super interesting game design of, like, oh, use the text box to type out, like, call out to this character and say their name, like... Okay.
No, it makes you think. It fosters community.
I mean, it fosters jokes of, like, I poured into Ilmeg and somebody types out snailing and shout chat, and it's like, oh, I remember when I had to do that. It's kind of funny, but it's like the Lahi jokes. It's like, oh, cool, this was funny like the first time, and now that I've heard it like a billion times, I'm kind of over it. So, but yeah.
that about does it for 5.5 stuff, I think.
Yeah. So, overall, your overall impressions of Shadowbringers as an expansion.
Yes, as an expansion, Shadowbringers is the best one. Even with all its faults, it is the best one. It had a lot of issues, but the highs were the highest they have ever been. And there is in the narrative, even when it has its pitfalls, it is the most consistently good I think it has been ever. I think that the side content this time around was again much more consistent. I think a lot less frustrating than Eureka. I think my only problem is that Yoshi P started this expansion by saying we're only getting one dungeon a patch now, right? And he said it was for the sake of more content, and I don't feel like we did get more content at all. Because this time around we didn't get a deep dungeon. Boja didn't feel that artistically like deep, and everything just sort of felt like it was a lot of reused assets and stuff like that, and it just makes me wonder, like, where did that go? Probably FF16, right?
Probably. I know there was like the whole, this is the expansion that happened during the pandemic, so there was some delays there,
like,
but
I respect that, but even going in, we knew that we were going to have less, right? Like,
yes.
the plans were not that impressive.
This is the expansion that didn't have job quests anymore. They switched to role quests.
Yeah.
Which I still think the role quests were good. It's not that
They
the
were,
role quests were
but
bad, but it was less content.
yes.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think Shadowbringers is the best expansion. I know that there is currently a large influx of new players to Final Fantasy XIV, and some people are, in my opinion, misattributing that to certain streamers getting into the game. And while I can certainly agree that, some amount of people are getting interested because people are playing the game more often on Twitch and YouTube or whatever, and like, they wouldn't be coming to this game if the game wasn't already good.
Yeah, also it's summer.
It's summertime, and also we have the hype for Endwalker is incredibly high, and also Shadowbringers has been a banger expansion for the last 2 years now.
Yep.
Like, if it wasn't already good, people wouldn't really be giving it that much attention. So
I also think, like, with it being the summer, realistically, this is the real reason I think it's popping off, is summer is always... I know this will seem a little funny because a lot of games are coming out this month specifically, but summer is, for the mainstream gamer, often the dry period until September, when the Sonys start popping off and things like that with the big stuff. So especially with people wanting to stay inside during a heat wave, I know not everyone has this capability, but with how hot it's been, I imagine that's also been a compelling concept, especially on the PlayStation, I'd imagine, more than a PC. Also, the PS5 version just came out, right? So some people might be going into that.
Plus, their decision way back in 5.3, like almost a year ago, of, hey, we're going to make the free trial go up to level 60, and you can play all of Rumbleborn and Heavensward now. That's also incentivizing people to play the game.
Yeah.
Try it out, because it costs you time and some download, and it might be hard to get into servers depending on where you are, but I think that free trial is enough to determine whether or not this is a game for you. Like, if you go through a Realm Reborn and you're like, I'm not really invested, I don't really want to do this stuff, or like you get to Heavensward and you finish it and it's like, I don't really want to do in-game content here, and I'm not really vibing with this. Sure. I mean, even if you quit within the first 15 minutes, like, I think that's fine because it's a free trial.
Yeah. All it costs you is the 30 hours it takes to download the game.
Yeah, basically.
It's not that bad, actually. It's like 30 gigs, I think, now.
I think, but yeah, I agree with you. Overall, Shadowbringers is the best expansion. The highs in the writing are the highest they've ever been. It is not devoid of bad writing, as we've seen with like Geralt in the Resistance stuff,
or Vothri.
Vothri
in the course
was pretty bad.
But you contrast that against the Warrior of Light and
Emmett Selk.
The Asm stuff. Just the entire bit where Alphanaud is like explaining how they should implement socialism to Yulmore.
Yeah,
like there's a lot. There's a lot that's just yeah.
Content-wise, this is kind of like it's like a hit and miss. Like, I enjoyed some aspects of Save the Queen, and the Nier raids, and the EX trials, but I do know that the Nier raids weren't universally enjoyed by everyone because some of them just had mechanics that people just didn't really like all that much. I know that, like as we talked about, the Save the Queen stuff had some problems, and they were constantly playing catch-up with trying to make people want to actually play the content. We didn't get a deep dungeon. There were far fewer... there were no hard mode dungeons, which was disappointing, and
I think love that.
That's the biggest disappointment for me of like the not getting two dungeons is we don't get a hard mode dungeons anymore because it was just fun. It was just fun to revisit a place and see it in a new context. Yeah.
And I know people joke about how many of the hard mode dungeons are just some crazy plants got in or something, like someone left the door open.
But it's the same haunted manor, but now it's really bad and spooky. Like, fuck yeah, give me that shit.
But like when it's stuff like Somal in reverse, like that's cool, like it's This is fun stuff they could do, and it's sad to see that will never happen again, right? Ever. That'll never happen. Like, I would love to have seen some Stormblood dungeons, like, do Doma Castle again. I don't know.
Yeah. So.
The burn hard mode.
Also, like, I'm going to say this point not for me or for you, but for some people that I know, this was a sticking point for them. The having to delay the second ultimate to the next expansion. It's unfortunate because like this isn't really like an anybody's fault situation because it was delayed because of the pandemic.
Yeah. And it should probably have been delayed more based on what you hear about going on in Japan right now.
Yeah. But it is a good thing that it was delayed to the next expansion because Yoshi P was like, I'm not having the team kill themselves to get this content out in 5.5. That's just not happening. But also, I do understand that it kind of sucks for the player base that's really interested in Ultimates.
Yeah. It's just like... Yeah, like, I think even if that Ultimate had come out, looking at this just staggering lack of content, and especially I think the main thing that stood out to me, nothing new. No new mechanics, no new ideas at play with how content can be engaged with. Certainly there was the Ishgard stuff, but let's be realistic here. Not that different.
Oh god, I completely forgot about Ishgardian Restoration because like once I got Saint of the Firmament, I kind of just didn't interact with that content.
Yeah, bye. But like it wasn't even that deep. Like it wasn't. They didn't make some like the crafting was fun to like fuck around with, and it was interesting how they did some stuff with it. But ultimately, like that was not a fundamentally different way of interacting with the game. Like Deep Dungeon was a fundamentally different way of interacting with the game. Eureka was a fundamentally different way of interacting with the game. Like there's nothing here, and I don't expect them to constantly be able to figure out how to reinvent the wheel. But the fact that there was nothing even to make up for that, like there wasn't a like, oh well, we're refining everything, and there's going to be more of what is already good. There was less of what was already good, and nothing to make up for it.
It was cool to see that there was like actual content for crafting and gathering. It was unfortunate that it was basically just the same crafting and gathering, just in specific areas or doing specific recipes.
RNG-based rewards.
Competitive gotcha fishing. So, yeah. But even in spite of all these flaws, Shadowbringers is the best expansion. It's been the best. It's been the best time for the game overall.
There's never been a better time to be a Final Fantasy gamer.
There are 4 months or so until Endwalker comes out. Got plenty of time to do whatever goals you have, get all the jobs to level 80, get your Amaro mount, clear some raids. It's easier to do now.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
And like if you've been interested in raiding, but you feel like, oh, I'm not confident in raiding, like I promise you, it's not that difficult. The hardest fights this tier specifically are like the very first one. So if you even want to just skip and do E10S, like go do that. Go look up a guide. We were doing a strategy where we were completely ignoring one mechanic, and it caused everybody to get a damage down. But we were able to clear it because Echo. So, level up your crafters and gatherers. You don't have to do the relic grind if you don't want to, but you might want to get ready for the farming stuff that's coming out in Endwalker. But yeah, this was a good expansion.
Definitely. Which will lead us into our next talk about the next expansion. And once again, the second Endwalker Fan Fest thing happened. The real Fan Fest this time, not the Final Fantasy Digital Showcase, which we'll talk about. Endwalker. All right. So yes, the Endwalker digital event occurred at the Final Fantasy Fan Festival, which was all online. And this was the more, this is the, hey, here's the Crystal Tower moment, I guess, even if there wasn't really anything that crazy. For Endwalker, where we get the expanded cinematic, we get to see that Charlene is the other half of the story, as it were. We get introduced to Fortunal there. What else was there in there? Vitra, I guess, was in there. The full Endwalker song, the real Endwalker song, I guess.
Yeah, this song completely rips. I am
hard to go wrong.
Once again, surprised that they were able to take the vibes from Shadowbringers' incredible song and then go in a different direction, but still capture that sense of like, this is a banger. But it's weird too because they fuse in other songs with the Endwalker song. It's not just the Endwalker song. It's the Heavensward song and the Stormblood song and part of the Shadowbringer song. And I think there's even Eternal Wind in there for when it shows off old Charlene. The part where it's the woman singing the lyrics.
I can already envision a final boss fight music.
It's pretty good. It'd be really curious to see how they blend that together. So
I have some ideas.
The only other big reveals are that Xenos has a scythe, because this is when they revealed that, yes, the melee job is going to be using a scythe, and Xenos has it. And that's basically it. It's very funny.
Yeah.
How they used to not reveal jobs in the trailer. Because if you go back and watch the Heavensward trailer, They
There's
showcase
none. Yeah.
They showcase, oh yes, we're going to the nation that has dragoons, and then we see the Warrior of Light job change from a warrior to a dragoon at the end of the trailer. But you don't see Dark Knights, you don't see Machinists, and you don't see Astrologians anywhere. And then we go to Stormblood, and it's like, okay, so now the Warrior of Light is now a monk. They're fighting Lys in Rhalgr's Reach. And then we cut over to Kugane, and he's a samurai now because we're revealing the samurai job at the showcase. And Yoshi P walks out wearing the samurai AF gear, looking sick as hell. And then we get to Shadowbringers, and they do the same thing. They show off Thancred. Oh, Thancred has job changed to the new tank job, Gunbreaker. And hey, look, at the end of the final version of the trailer, we get to see like the Crystal Tower, and hey, look, there's a Vieira, and there's and she's a dancer. That's weird. So we are getting dancer. And then we get to Endwalker, and it's like, oh, Alpha knows a sage, and now Xenos has a scythe. He's the Reaper job. It's very weird. I kind of wish they didn't do this. Because they keep having to come up with reasons to job change characters into... Like, it's fine if they're job changing, like, the main character. But the main character is always going to be whatever the poster job is. Like, in Shadowbringers, goes through all the jobs in sequence and then ends on Dark Knight. And in the Endwalker trailer, obviously a paladin. But it's really weird when it's like other characters, because then we have to have like, a reason why Thancred is canonically now a Gunbreaker for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's like he's like, I picked up the Gunblades because I needed to be more defensive oriented. I had somebody to protect, and it's like, okay, that's sure, that makes sense, but like you were doing a good job as like a rogue. I don't know why we had to like canonize this. And also, where the hell did you go all the way to Bosnia to get the Gunbreaker lore? What the fuck's up with that?
He was undercover in Garlemald, wasn't he?
He was.
And
it just would have been nice to see a flashback of him like getting the Gunbreaker job stone, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's just really weird to me. So Reaper is a Bloodborne job.
Literally just straight up, yeah.
Yoshi P walked out in the Reaper gear, and it looks sick as hell.
It did. My personal favorite is they showed it off with an Aura girl, so you got to see that there's little thigh openings. Big fan of that. There's
also side midriff on the chest piece too.
Oh yeah.
And the benchmark has been out, and there's an Elysian man who's wearing the outfit, and it's also on the men as well.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yep. They learned their lesson again.
Yep. Yeah, that's really good. Job is going to share gear with Dragoon. So I've already put together a maiming Reaper glamour.
Scathe. Yeah, I should actually work on that. I just grabbed all the Scathe and stuff to get ready.
Yep. It's got a really cool thing where you summon like a Void Scent to like do like off global attacks, and then like the big burst phase, much like how like Dragoon has Life of the Dragon. The Reaper has a Void Scent possession mode where the Void Scent possesses your body, and then you like attack as a single entity, and your attacks have flashier effects and presumably do more damage and maybe have additional effects. But we will have to see in the media tour when people get their hands on Reaper what exactly it plays like. In an interview, people were asking like, so is Reaper going to be like a synergy DPS or a selfish DPS? And Yoshi P basically all but said that it's going to be a selfish DPS because, well, he basically says like, well, Xenos is going to be a Reaper, and I can't really see him be like, can you see Xenos playing like a support DPS who gives other people buffs? I can't really see that. And it would make sense for him to change from one selfish DPS to another selfish DPS. So
looks away from my considering if he's switching from a selfish DPS to another selfish DPS.
I mean, I'm definitely going to be playing through Endwalker as Reaper because it's fucking Reaper. Hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm so considering it. I'm so considering it.
I could see going either way. Like I could see you going through Endwalker on Reaper. I could see you going through Endwalker on Paladin. I could see you going through Endwalker on Samurai. Like all of those fit your character.
Yeah,
different
I'm probably
reasons.
just gonna do Samurai. Just, I mean, like it's the one I associate the most with my character, right? Like, that is the main one. So finishing the main story with that would make the most sense. But also, goddamn, I want to twirl a scythe. I don't.
Yeah.
I love ghosts.
I mean, you could do the really bad idea that I did for Stormblood, where I played 3 jobs throughout that storyline.
I basically did that.
I did Red Mage for the I did Red Mage for the Ruby Sea and the Locks. I did Monk for the Fringes and the Peaks, and I did Warrior for Yanksha and the Steppe.
I think I did Ninja, Dark Knight, and Samurai in some order.
I don't
I know
recommend
I got Samurai
doing
up
that.
day
And
one.
the
No,
thing is,
no.
I tried to do it for Shadowbringers with Dark Knight, Machinist, and Gunbreaker, but one of the changes they added in Shadowbringers was quests would scale down with your level, like side quests. And I didn't want to actually do a bunch of grinding because I was actually able to play Shadowbringers like with everybody else because I was moving for Stormblood's launch. So I was like, I had an excuse to take my time because I was already 2 weeks behind everybody. But with Shadowbringers, it's like, no, I need to get to the end so that I can do like the final boss fight with some friends of mine. And I was able to do that. So, but yeah, I don't recommend people do that. But if you want to, it was really fun. What's up?
I just realized the number one way to level really fast when I was doing Samurai was Palace of the Dead.
Yep.
It won't be that anymore.
You will have to get...
It won't even be Heaven or High, will it?
No. Okay, so if you're planning on going through Endwalker on Reaper or Sage, or any other job you have at level 70, you will want to get that job to level 71, and then you will want to do the Bosnian Southern Front or Zadnor, because that will scale your... Because the nice thing about that is it scales you up to level 80, so you get to play with the 80 rotation, and then you just level that way. But that'll be your best bet for leveling.
And daily quests.
And daily quests, yeah. Do your...
The 3 of them, I guess, I just realized.
Yeah, the Pixie Tribe quests. But yeah. Old Charlian looks cool.
It looks cool in the cinematic.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this before, in that benchmark.
It doesn't look great from a distance because it's not really designed to be looked at from a distance. It probably looks fine in game when we're actually in there. But yeah.
It's lacking in a distinctive vibe. And obviously there are months left, right? There are 4 months until this comes out. I think about how Idleshire looks, right? Idleshire. Sorry, I don't know why. I think about how even Rauger's Reach looks. I think about how... I mean, I guess a better example, Ishgard, Kugane, these things that are supposed to be similar to. I think about all of these places, and they're so distinctive, they're so unique, they have unique lighting and unique things that make them look the way they do.
Yeah.
And then I look at this and I go, oh god, it just looks like a bunch of textures.
I think
there's nothing that stood out to me.
Is that they need to make the mountain range in the back look bigger because you can't see it hardly at all. And also they need to make the water in Old Charlian look really good. I don't know how you do that. Maybe it looks better closer, but
yeah.
Yeah, I think if they get
really
the water
wide.
fixed, it'll look a lot better. Because the water in the cinematic obviously looks gorgeous, but then when you see it in the benchmark, it's like, oh god, this is just like a carpet.
I think they need better marble textures also.
Yeah, but again,
If
that
they're
might
gonna
just
make
be,
everything marble, yeah, again, probably not
that might
done.
be
But
something that looks better closer up. But again, we'll see. And like you said, there's 4 months. There's still time to change things.
yep.
Um,
So there's the Loperits they showed off, which are a
Another
little
tribe.
rabbit
they're
naming
probably
ways.
going to be the crafting or gathering. Would be
Yeah.
my guess. Because Shadowbringers, they've solidified that they're going to have one combat tribe, one crafting tribe, one gathering tribe. And the Loporits being on the moon, I assume, are probably
We have
either
to
gonna be
imagine.
get crafting or gathering. Yeah, what else?
I wish you, well, on Loperits, I wish you could play as something that looked like a Loperit. I would do that. Just for like an alt.
people were wanting Evilisian Moogles for a long time, which by that they mean like the Moogles used to
That
use
would,
tactics.
yeah, I love those.
I wanted that so bad, but rip. It's mostly rip because when we got a Return to Evilis, they showed off Mont Blanc and he was there and he was just a regular ass Moogle, and it's like,
I know, I was really mad too.
disappointing. This is the reason why Matsuno left. He was just they had to like coerce him back for Save the Queen. But he was pissed at them because they didn't do cool Mont Blanc. They gave us generic Mont Blanc.
It's really weird to me because they have the new the up-resed assets from Final Fantasy 12. Like
Yeah.
you'd think they would have just done that. They put fucking Chocobo Dungeon in. Like, so weird.
Put it in, you cowards.
Speaking of putting it in, they are putting a data center into the Oceanic region. So
Yeah.
players who live in Australia or New Zealand, or even I would say Indonesia to an extent, the Philippines, Eurasia, Malaysia, that's the term I want. Malaysia, not Eurasia. You'll have a closer data center that isn't in Japan
Or in North America,
or in Europe.
which will be nice. An addendum to this is that they also, like, because of the influx of players they've gotten, they actually pointed out that they were planning on adding new data centers to North America and Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the pandemic and also because of the other plague on the earth, which is Bitcoin mining / crypto, there is a shortage of semiconductors, so it's harder to. So, one, it's harder to make new data centers because there's a semiconductor shortage. And they even tried, like, what if we paid extra to get them? Like, what if we actually invested more revenue into getting semiconductors? It still didn't work out. Like, so, like, because of the pandemic, there's less people working on making semiconductors, and because of crypto, the semiconductors that are being produced are being purchased and bought up. So that's one problem. And then the other problem is because of the pandemic, they can't, like, actually visit, like, the data centers physically and get everything set up.
Right, yeah.
Which is slowing it down. So we will not get those North American and European data centers until, like, around 7.0. So that is something to look forward to in the future. But a nice thing is, because Square Enix has been largely normal about handling the pandemic, they have said
especially
that, like,
compared to most.
they have said that, like, they're not going to force staff to go to data center locations. They want to make sure that the countries they're going to are, like, doing things appropriately and taking the necessary precautions, and also they're going to, like, let the individual staff members, like, weigh in whether or not they themselves want to, like, go. So, which I think is fine. But the Oceania data center is going to be ready to go by 6.0, I believe. So it'll be cool to have a whole new set of data center, like a whole new data center with a whole new set of server names that are based off of Final Fantasy properties, so it'll be cool to see what those are.
Yeah.
I hope they name them after characters. That would be funny. Oh, do you want to go to the Cloud server? Nah, buddy, I'm on the Squall server.
I'm on the
Lightning server.
the Tita server. Ugh. Is there already a Lightning server?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think any of them are named after like the main characters.
I didn't think it was named after that. I thought it was just like named after like lightning.
No.
like
there's a Ramu, but that's the closest you'll get, I think. I think there's also Ixion, never mind. Yeah.
Famfrit. All right. Speaking of things to look forward to, well, actually, so data center transfer is going to come as an addendum on that soon. I think it's before Endwalker, right? Isn't it like they're going to do in October or something?
They said like September, October. A lot of people were misunderstanding and thinking that it was going to be in the patch that came out yesterday, but that's just because they put it on the same slide as 5.58 stuff, which was bad graphic design, but they said multiple times that it wasn't coming until later. It's coming before Endwalker happens, but it's coming after 5.58. So I think September, October is when they said they wanted to try it. But yeah, so not only are we getting a new data center, but people will be able to travel around to different data centers. And I imagine the limitations there are going to be even more strict than the ones you'll have in World Visit travel. Because with World Visit, you can't access your mail, you can't put up anything in the market boards, you can't access your retainers, you can't join any FCs or any link shells. And I think those are the big main ones that would affect people. But like you could still do things like you can still buy off of the markets, you can still log out of your character, you can still do any other content, you can still use the duty finder and the party finder. I think with data center travel, they will additionally make it so that you can't access cross-world link shells at all, because those will be tied to your previous data center, right?
Yeah.
So you'll have even less options for communication. You might not even be able to. You may be able to join fellowships. We'll see.
Great.
Like that may. It'll be weird.
My favorite feature, fellowship.
So.
But to go back to my previous transition. Speaking of things that you can look forward to in 7.0, no, 6.0 is going to be getting male Viera, and in 7.0 they're going to be making female Hrothgar.
Did they say female Hrothgar are coming in 7.0? I thought it was.
They said no. It'll probably be like 6.3. Let's be real. I'm just being realistic. I'm being pessimistic here. How about that? I'm being pessimistic. Saying, where are those eggy glamours? You know?
Yeah, for real. It was the male Viera reveal was one of the surprising moments. Like we already had tip-offs that Reaper was coming, and a lot of people had guessed that Old Charlian was going to be the new place, and like we already knew about the moon, and you know, but male Viera was one of those like people wanted it, but they didn't think it was going to actually happen. And it has happened and will happen. And they even said, like, we won't have female Hrothgar in time because we wanted to just have one ready to go. But we are doing female Hrothgar. So finally, one of the bigger problems with Shadowbringers, well, not problems, I guess, but disappointments of Shadowbringers is going to be rectified in Endwalker. So that'll be fun. Although I will say the male Viera have some of the worst facial hair options in the whole game. Even worse than the Lalafell, which is saying something.
They are truly foul.
I cannot make a Viera with sideburns because the sideburns look like they're painted on. It's bad.
That's it's because they're all little Twinkies. They're trying really hard to look cool.
I will say that male Viera are the only other race compared to Midlanders that I can actually make a character who's my height, because everybody else is either too tall or too small. So, but yeah, I'm glad this is happening. I can't wait to see the female Rothgar stuff when that happens in 7.3. And then didn't we also get the name of the Alliance raids?
Yes, the Myths of the Realm, which will be all about the 12. Which is, I did not expect them to ever reference the 12 ever again.
I have been wanting us to do like a normal / Savage raid series where each of the 12 floors is fighting one of the 12. But they decided to go the Alliance raid route, which is probably better. So that'll be interesting. I wonder if we are actually going to be able to fight the gods, which would be sick, because I do want to see...
I think that's probably what's going to happen, right?
I do want to see Nafika and Halone fighting us while they're also fighting each other because they hate each other.
That'd be pretty good. The girls are fighting.
The girls are fighting. Because one is the goddess of life and fertility and nature, and the other one is the goddess of ice and war and killing people. So naturally, they're enemies.
And naturally, they're enemies, in quotation. I just said a little editorializing here, folks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, very interested in this, because beforehand they had just said that the Alliance raid would explore an aspect of Eorzea that they haven't really touched on, and I thought that just meant, like, initially I thought Pagelthin, which became a dungeon, and then I thought, like, oh, maybe it'll be Galmora again. Could still be Galmora.
Yeah.
But the 12 is definitely a very interesting way to take that. I'm curious as to what Pandemonium will be now, also.
So my guess for what Pandemonium's going to be goes into my predictions for the MSQ for Endwalker, which I want to stress, I do not know anything more than what anybody else knows. This is pure speculation. My uncle does not work for Square Enix, and I do not know any excess information. So I think that we are going to go into the ethereal sea that's underneath the planet.
Yeah.
And once we go through the ethereal sea, there's going to be some Ascian zone somewhere in there, like from the ancient times, that has just been preserved or whatever.
Or maybe even a different faction.
Or maybe a different faction. We'll see. But I think Pandemonium is going to be like La Habrea's like personal study / like thing he was working on, where he makes all his weird fucked up creations. And there's going to be some big problem with Pandemonium where it's like threatening to like, or maybe it emerges out of the ethereal sea from whichever like gap that we use to fly the ship into that we're going to get on the moon or whatever. And we have to like go into Pandemonium and stop it before like all these hell creatures come out and start killing everybody. So we'll see. Because Pandemonium is from Final Fantasy II. And it is the name of the Imperial Palace after it basically descends through a portal into hell. Like, it basically, like, it falls through the earth and ends up in hell, and then you have to go through Pandemonium, Castle Pandemonium, and it's like the final dungeon. And if you see what's happening in Garlemald, it's like, oh, this kind of looks like it's going to be Pandemonium. So...
Also Pandemonium in Final Fantasy IX.
Oh yeah, there's also Pandemonium there, which
that dungeon is based off of that they showed.
Yep. That would be my guess as to what Pandemonium's like. It's obviously tied to La Habrea, and I have to assume it's where he made his fucked up creations or whatever. Because La Habrea, for people who maybe don't know, likes to create monsters, basically. That was his thing. He likes to create fucked up little guys and fucked up little duendes. Then he shows up at the convocation, is like, look up at this fucked up little thing that I made, and Emet goes, ugh, it's hideous, get it out of here. Anything else?
Not really. I think that's about it.
I can't think of anything else they showed off in the fan fest that they didn't already talk about in the previous one.
Yeah.
Like, which is all stuff we've talked about before, like the island sanctuary and the Ishgard housing is coming, and the Arakasoda going to Radzat-Han, Thavnair, Mare Lamentorium. I guess we didn't talk about the moon zone, but I mean, like, it's a moon zone. What do you want?
It plays well, they said they didn't know if it was the final music or not, but it was another piano arrange of Amarot.
Yeah, Neath Dark Waters.
Which, big shock. Couldn't believe that.
There was the...
Nice thing, the Allegan rocket on the moon. That was pretty good in the background.
Yeah,
that was good. There.
The Labyrinthos. Probably the biggest, we're showing our cards here of anything they've showed us for Endwalker.
It was really strange because even if you go to the website right now, they say what it is on the website, straight up. And it's kind of weird because 5.5 has this narrative idea of why doesn't Charlea want to do stuff with us? What are they planning? Why don't they want to help save the world? And it's just like, well, now we know. We literally know. There's no mystery.
Yep.
Which I can't really think of an expansion before where they just did that. Like, they didn't show Ozzy's Law until, like, a week before it came out or something.
So with Stormblood, since they kind of tipped their hat that we were freeing Alamigo, there wasn't really a problem with them showing off that Alamigo was a location. They showed it off in the job action trailer, specifically with the Astrologian. There's a part where, like, you can just see Alamigo in the background, so it's like it's no surprise that, you know, Alamigo is going to be the final area. So there wasn't really any big reveal, but like you said, in Heavensward, they didn't show off Az's Law as the final area, which was a cool reveal because it's like, oh, it's thematically appropriate because this is Heavensward. A lot of flying and being in the sky, you know, that kind of stuff. Makes sense that the last area would be a floating continent. And then with Shadowbringers, they obviously didn't show off they didn't reveal that the Tempest was going to be what it was in either respect. Which is funny, though, because if you look at the map, the world map, when you get to Shadowbringers, the Tempest is the only other area that's, like, labeled.
I didn't even think about that, but that, yeah, it's good.
But here's the catch to that. One, it's written in a slightly different font. Because one, like, all of the first has a different font from the Eorzean stuff, obviously, but like it's colored different, so you could easily pass it off of like, oh, they're just labeling this body of water because it would be a normal body of water to label on a map like this. So, like, unless you're like really scrutinizing and trying to figure out what the final area is going to be, you wouldn't necessarily guess that it's the Tempest.
Yeah.
I was doing that, and so when Emet Selk did mention the Tempest, I was like, oh, he's talking about the body of water out there. That's weird. How the hell are we going to get out there? And then, you know, the rest of the plot happens. But I didn't actually, like, I figured out that place was called the Tempest, but I didn't figure out, like, that that's where we were going until he said it. But I'm kind of the person who kind of likes to let stories happen without trying to, like, figure out the story before it happens.
I can go either way. Sometimes I'm the type of sicko who goes to the wiki for spoilers. And the reason that is, if I really like characters, I get anxious.
Oh, sure.
And I just want to know that they're okay or not okay so I can prepare myself. Because I still enjoy a story even if I know what's going to happen most of the time, because I admire the structure and the flow. But
And sometimes the voice acting when that's appropriate.
sometimes.
Yeah. It's just, I did all of my sleuthing of trying to figure out the plot of what's going to happen in the days of reading Homestuck. And so I'm kind of just over that. I'm just kind of content to let stories happen, and if they do a thing that I thought was going to happen, it's like cool, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try to sleuth out oh, we're absolutely going to go here. My Ethereal Sea thing is literally just because I think that's I literally just
It makes the most sense.
What if the ship thing in the logo is not them going to the moon, it's them going to the planet? And it's why would they go to a planet in a big ship? Because they're going to go into the Ethereal Sea.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to happen, and that doesn't necessarily mean that's true. So, and if it isn't true, I'm not going to feel upset about it. I'll be like, oh, cool, we get to do this other thing that I didn't anticipate. And if I am a little bit right, it's oh, this is kind of what I said.
So here's a question for you. One final question before we wrap it up. What do you want to see them... Since I was thinking about this when we were talking about some of the accessibility stuff adding. What sort of things would you like to see them add that are new? Like a new thing. Like a new thing or an improvement that they haven't talked about?
So, as far as improvements go, I know there are data reasons why they can't just keep adding stuff to the currency menu. They can't just make stuff new currency. People had a lot of complaints about that with the raid books or the EX totems or the Bosnian coins, stuff like that. But I think if they're not going to be able to just add those to the currency tab and make them whatever, those should either just be key items, and they should make them, or they should make them more usable sooner. In the case of EX, you should be able to just buy the dragon when the fight comes out. Or buy the mount when the fight comes out.
Right, it's just artificial lengthening. And obviously everything in an MMO is artificial lengthening, right? That's the nature of it.
They're already making you fight the thing 99 times.
That's insane. That's so many clears for so many people. It's fine. You don't need to ask someone to sacrifice their lifeblood. Come on.
But also, if they go the distance and end up... It's mostly supposed there as a fail-safe in case you just get really bad RNG or you just get outrolled all the time. But if they have to rely on that failsafe, just give them the fucking thing, In the case of the Savage books, those should just be key items anyway, so people don't accidentally throw them away. And in the case of the Alliance coins, those should be used as soon as you can get as many coins as you want, and which is the same point where the weekly limits on those Alliance drops is lifted. You should be able to use the coin to just buy an item. So if you run, say, the copied factory, you get no drops because you get outrolled or the thing that you want doesn't drop. You still get a coin at the end, and then you can turn the coin in at a vendor, and then you can just pick one of the drops to get. That way, it doesn't feel like the thing is wasted. The run is wasted.
Yeah, and I don't have to do a million runs for it.
And they could factor this in with the unique rewards like the minion or whatever, and then it's just you need 10 coins and you can buy the triple triad card that you need to get the triple triad mount,
Yeah, definitely a lot more of that stuff.
They just need to be better at handling the various different currencies in the game. That's an improvement that I want. There is obviously the improvement that I want where you can't do Duty Finder if you don't have your job crystal equipped. But
yeah, we just recently, I know my girlfriend rage quitted out of an expert roulette because there wasn't a Lancer there.
That shouldn't happen. But they let it happen, so it's not a bannable offense. But also, come on,
just make it more miserable for everyone. It's fun. It's great.
If I have to fucking level Archer to 90 because they haven't implemented this, I'm gonna lose my mind. A new thing that I want added is I want them to add a deep dungeon that doesn't use the old Deep Dungeon system of like Palmanders and going through floors per se, but basically is just the game but as a turn-based game. I want them to make a turn-based combat Deep Dungeon, basically. It doesn't even necessarily have to have like the tactics isometric like a grid system thing, although I think that would be cool. But I would like a little thing where like you have your party on like one side of the screen like an old Final Fantasy game and they're doing like little animations and shit.
Yeah, and they could even make it like some of the moves or whatever that already exist and just have them do arbitrary damage or effects. Yeah.
That could be fun. What about you? An improvement.
I think that's a really good idea. I really like that turn-based idea. I think that would be a good thing to do. Just more ways to play the game that aren't just playing the game. 'Cause I am exhausted. I think there need to be more ways to play the game, which kind of leads into my thing. Let Blue Mage do more. For real. There's no reason to be as... what's the word I want to use?
Restrictive.
Yeah, restrictive. And, like... So, like, pearl clutching about the sanctity of the game that Blue Mage is going to ruin. You know? Like, guess what? Blue Mage did insane shit in FF11. It did absolutely insane shit. And that was a different game, sure. But, like, creating content that people had to make parties for that Blue Mage could solo with enough effort. Like, they just let it do that. And they didn't penalize them for it. I would love to do the MSQ on Blue Mage.
Me too. I have a Blue Mage alt ready to go as soon as they let us do it.
I would love to be grinding some of the Palace achievements on Blue Mage. Stuff like that. It's just like, it's infuriating to see the way they treat Blue Mage because it's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like, here's this job that we put effort to and that have like gradually worked into a job that's fun to play over time, and all it can do is Carnival with rewards that don't even matter.
Or you get enough of them together and you can get like achievements or whatever, or titles, and one mount.
Yeah.
Yeah. It made sense when they were saying like, oh, we don't want people to just use like level 5 death and kill everything, and then it's like, but they don't even let you do that.
They don't even let you do that. Yeah, exactly. That's part of the thing. Is just like Yoshi P said that they wouldn't let Blue Mage do stuff, but then they already make everything immune to that stuff. Like,
yeah,
you're literally at a DPS loss for trying to use them as Blue Mage. Like, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Yeah, that stuff has been showing its ass in Stormblood when they started making everything immune to everything all the time. Even Tail End of Heavensward. But doing the Stormblood stuff especially was just like, man, Omega is fucking just... That's just like doing it with normal people. There's nothing fun or crazy about this.
Yep.
Like...
It can just be a regular job now.
It feels like a puzzle job instead of like an overpowered thing. As the thing. Like, and I like that to an extent, but they need to let you like use it.
Yeah. I
like it.
My big thing is just like, please just like, if I can only pick one thing to do with Blue Mage, it would be MSQ. Because like, I can party find for the dungeons and the trials that I would have to do to go through the MSQ. And I can party find for like any of the side content I'd want to do. And I don't really care about doing Blue Mage in Eureka or Bosnia because like I've already done those on one other character. I don't want to do them on another character again. You know, I might do the first part of Eureka on some characters to get like the Diable Artifact gear, maybe. And I might do the same on Bosnia just to get certain glamour pieces. But I don't really feel compelled to do those things on Blue Mage. But like on Deep Dungeon, fucking hell yeah, let me do that. Also, side note, they should maybe design the other jobs a bit more to be like Blue Mage. How, you know how it can have like all of its kit at level 1? That would be nice for other jobs to have. Even if they have to be scaled down, but just like have their movesets be the same, more or less. Because some jobs get more and more fun the more you level up, and then you have to play like 2.0 Black Mage or 2.0 Paladin, and it really sucks.
What are they doing? What are they doing? Especially if they're gonna add Beastmaster, I'm just dreading it at some point. That'll be a limited job. What else? Rework hunts. I don't know. I hate hunts, so I would just like to see that be reworked. And remove the gender lock. That's all I've been thinking about. I wish they would just give up. I wish they had been honest. I wish they genuinely would remove the gender lock. When Yoshi P went on his weird speech where people were saying, wow, Yoshi P said trans rights. And Yoshi P just sort of said, I saw a trans person once.
Yeah, that was a weird, interview.
It was a really weird interview. I think, the fact that he said that they need to keep it in line with conservative values is just what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? It's weird. You're putting. I mean, they have to put more effort in, I guess, to make the models for everything. So it's not putting more effort in, but they are putting in more efforts to make multiple designs for that stuff.
Yeah, it's just weird because they have already done so much in terms of giving characters making outfits that both genders can wear, right?
Yeah,
I can put dresses on my male character. I can put the bridesmaid dress now on my character. That's a thing that they did add recently, where I can wear the bridesmaid's dress now. I can do that. I can have my character wear the most revealing outfits in the game. There isn't really an excuse at this point outside of we didn't have the development time. But even then, it's what were you spending the development time on? If you can't dedicate the time to model this outfit for all of the character models in the game, then why even bother in the first place? I think the reason they haven't let people wear the Emmett Selk outfit is because they know that if they make that male only, people are going to lose their fucking minds.
Do you know how mad I would be? I'd be so mad.
Do you know how mad so many people would be? It'd be nuts. Same thing with the Grahatia Crystal Exarch outfit. I understand these outfits were modeled for specific characters. I understand that. But if you're going to let them be purchasable by one part of the population who can actually wear it, it's really dumb that you just don't put in the effort to let the other part of the population wear it.
That's my other point. Destroy the Mog Station. They'll never do it. I know, they'll never do it.
They'll never do it, but they should. They don't need it.
It's gotten too bad. It's just gotten too bad. We're at the point now where they are introducing paid outfits twice a month.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. It's pathetic to ask for an outfit, a 3D model. It's just insane. I know, listen, modelers need to get paid, okay? But the fact that the game industry has pivoted to this weird idea that it's fine to commodify and sell cosmetics as additional things is insane as a value proposition to me. I personally cannot wrap my mind around paying a ton of money for a skin. I just think about how I could buy a whole ass indie game or something. I can pay a month subscription to the game for the Reshi outfit that I really want.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. It's such especially with the stupid shit on it that's this is one per account, or it goes to one character rather. It just sucks. It really sucks. In a premium game, you shouldn't have stuff this bad.
Yep. Fucking. I still think Warframe does at least a way better job at the whole we have a marketplace for cosmetic items because the people who make the cosmetic items are just regular people, not even employed by Digital Extremes, and they get the money from the cosmetic if it sells, which is great. So like if I buy like a really cool like cape for my Warframe, I am paying the person who designed the cape.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And then like they do have like their like Prime access and all that other shit, but that's mostly just like time saving really. Like if you don't want to like grind out stuff in the game, you can just pay them money and they will give it to you. This is a premium game. It has a subscription. You like pick one or the other. Like have the subscription service or have the Mog Station.
Yeah. It just sucks going to... I know you're not supposed to go to data mining threads by Square Enix's idea, but it sucks to go to data mining threads or see screenshots on Twitter and you go, oh my god, where do you get this outfit? Oh, it's not in the game yet? Oh, it's going to be Mog Station. Okay. Like, it used to be like, oh, there's data mining. Oh, wow, these outfits, that's crazy. That's going to be the Halloween outfit, you know? Like, yeah. I remember being so excited when that vampire outfit came out way back when.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing that in the files, like, oh man. The relief I had to feel recently when they said that they're going to put the Sukajan on the...
In the Moogle Tomes?
In the Moogle Tomes.
Because you had been talking about that literally the week before about, I'll never put this in.
I've been talking about it for years.
And then they put it in because of that Blue Mage contest across the different community teams.
Yeah, and it's just going to be free, and like the relief I felt going, oh, thank God, I don't have to have that $15 purchase in the future for no reason.
The only relief I ever feel when something is on the Mog Station is, oh, I don't have to do an event to get it that's time sensitive that will then be added to the Mog Station a year later. But that is a small comfort to, I could just get this when that event's out.
Yeah.
I mean, this ultimately leads to capitalism bad.
Capitalism bad, yeah, I know. You can only go so far before you have to say that. You just go, God damn it. But
I do think
this is egregious.
Removing the Mog Station would be the single unequivocal greatest thing they could ever do.
Just tone it down. It's ridiculous. I think just from a humanitarian, ethical standpoint... the concept of paying, let alone for the price they are, the level boosts, that's just insane to me. I'll never wrap my mind around it as long as I live, I don't think. That is just vile. That is to prey on people.
Yep. And then you get instances like the one guy who level boosted, story boosted, got to endgame and didn't know how to play anything and was like, yeah,
this sucks. This game sucks.
And it's like, maybe it was worth it for that guy to spend money instead of spending, hours and hours getting to that point to then find out that he doesn't actually like the game. But, like people were saying, like, did you want to play the game or not?
I just think, like, even if you're going to create a system like that, it should just be free. It should just be an option.
Yes. Like, even if they had to limit it, like, okay, you can level boost one job per character.
So a great example of this is something that I wish they did more was in WoW. Okay, in WoW when Wrath of the Lich King came out, that if you had to have a character at 70, I think.
No, it was 65.
It was 65 for Death Knight.
Yep, it was 60 or 65 because I did this myself.
Yeah, and they just let you start early. Yep. You get to be, and that's such a good thing because it's like it's paying you the fact that you played the game. You played the game, and now you can just do a boost character who's already well off. Like, yeah. It should just be like that. This is just vile. It's just vile. Let alone the fucking retainer jump potions. Disgusting. That is disgusting. That is the most foul thing I could imagine.
Who needs that? Honestly, it's
people who have more money than sense.
Like, here's the thing: retainer space is not based off of their level. The only thing you get from the level is your ability to do higher level ventures, right? Or if you care about this, letting your retainer wear higher level gear. like for like cosmetic, like you want to make them you want them to cosplay a certain character, or you want them to be a certain character. It's like, why are you paying them money to do this? Like, if the retainer like inventory space was based on their level, then it would be even worse, but I would at least understand paying money for that.
I feel like it just exists so that when someone is browsing the Mog Station and they're buying a jump potion, it just go, oh, well, I might as well get this one too. That seems like it should matter because they're new to the game and they don't know anything.
Oh dear.
They just want to take advantage of people. It's really miserable. You gotta hate capitalism, as we said.
I mean, one final thing I'll say is, like, a big thing that I do like about this game is how, even if you aren't interested in doing content, if you just wait, you will be able to get the rewards from that content for much less effort. Like how you can unsync old raids and get like the Alexander mounts and gear and fashion and shit. Because the gear is obsolete, right? And they don't care if people unsync it anymore. Or even if you still want to do it on content, you can wait for the echo and it makes it a lot easier. Like, one of the cool things that they did with the Save the Queen content is they made it so that they designed this content with the expectation that a lot of people would be doing them, but if you're the only person in a critical engagement, you get a huge ass like 200% echo boost that lets you do completely insane bonkers damage. To the point where you can fight duels and you can basically just cheese them. It's nuts. But the only parts where they don't do this is in the PvP rewards for the feast, which I've talked about before. I believe I've talked about it before, but they should let you just get the feast rewards from previous seasons after the season's done, so that the people who get them on the content, their reward is that they get that stuff first and can like show it off, and then after like the next season comes by, then everybody else can get that shit. Because like that's the same thing with like the raid weapons, like yeah, I have my Eden's Promise E12S mount and all the weapons and the glamour and like the gear that I want from that. But next expansion, I don't care if somebody unsyncs and gets that shit. I don't care if somebody uses Echo to get that shit. Like, the prestige for me isn't I got it before you. The prestige for me is I was able to get it at all. It's just that I was able to get it in May, whereas some people will have to get it in November or December, and that's not really that big of a deal. They should do the same thing with the Mog Station. You can buy stuff on the Mog Station to get it early, and then eventually it's just given to everybody else. You just have to go and download it and apply it to your character.
If only.
Sorry about this.
About
huge
capitalism now. Yeah, we have to go off about this shit. We always do. It's because it's really bad. It really is. If it didn't exist and wasn't as bad as it was, if they hadn't had just kept ramping it up to be more and more horrible. Listen, when it used to just be like, buy a Scion outfit, it was fine. But then you just like, it's just like when you look at it and you go, so this is where all the effort went in for an outfit. Like you... If you're like the Reshi outfit right now, that's Okitsusoji Fake Go. I want that right now. But no, instead all we got was a fucking frontier dress, which looks like every other. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
And on our big rant. So is there anything else you'd like to say? Yeah.
In conclusions, Shadowbringers good, had some problems, but was overall the best in spite of those problems. Endwalker, looking forward to it. Reaper good. Sage
Reaper very good. Sage is very cool.
I might be raiding on Sage because our white mage is switching to Reaper because he named his character after the main character of Soul Eater, so he's gotta. But I mean, like, so I'm probably gonna switch to healer, and then hoping that Sage is good, but even if like I'm not allowed to play Sage because our other healer is a scholar, and we don't want to, and maybe we don't want two barrier healers, I'll play Astro because that's also fun. And Mog Station sucks. That's the other thing. Mog Station sucks.
Mog Station sucks.
Anything
Seriously,
else?
goddamn. Goddamn.
What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts. Nier was fine. Diamond Weapon was fine. Less fine, but it was fine. Excited for the music in Endwalker is something I didn't talk about. Very excited for that based on the bits we heard from the benchmark. Garlemald looks great as his own in the benchmark there. Love the paved roads. And yeah, I'm just excited. I'm a little worried about Astrologian is one thing I also didn't talk about, just based on them saying they're going to rework it to be like Waymage. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
we'll see.
Hopefully this is the healer expansion, like Shadowbringers was the tank expansion.
I have full confidence in that based on how they handled the tanks. I know some people have some differing opinions about like Dark
We can
Knight
hope.
and stuff, but like tanking was really good this expansion because it was just consistent and they removed a lot of like the bullshit. Like I know a lot of people really liked aggro management, but it wasn't super interesting most of the time, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Like there are ways to make tanking more involved without having to bring back like archaic aggro management in the system that's more catered around letting tanks do as much damage as possible. Yeah. This was a good expansion.
It really was. Sad to see it go, but I'm going to believe that Endwalker will hopefully be at least comparable for the big ending. Very curious to see where we go next. All right. Well, thank you as always for joining me, my partner.
It's been real fun.
Yeah, and we get to take our 4-month break now.
Yeah.
5-month break, probably, realistically, since we'll want to wait for the raid takes and such before we do our big sicko mode 6.0 dumping ground. But
6 hours for 6.0.
Yeah, that seems generous based on some of our Shadowbringers casts. Like, I feel like the first one that we did was literally like 7 hours long.
It was up there.
It was insane. I know I had to. It probably wasn't. It was probably like 6 hours. I think, but it was probably just a long break. Anyways, whatever. We'll see. We'll see. That's why I'm glad it's just you and me on here, because no offense to anyone else, but if I had to edit 4 tracks for 5 hours, I would die.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good. So yeah, thank you again, and thank you all for listening if you've listened. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal. That's what they say, right?
They also say one brings shadow and one brings the light.
2-toned echoes tumbling through time.
3 score wasted. 10 cast aside.
10 cast aside. 4-fold knowing. No end in sight. Thanks, everybody. That'll do it. All right. Bye.
Bye.